Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Test Park here in Southampton University for this Premiership South clash between the Bristol Aztecs and the Solent Thrashers. I'm Matt Walker, joined as ever by Carl Walkinshaw here on the South Coast today. Carl, welcome.
Great to be here, Matt. The sun is shining, blue skies, nice pitch here at University of Southampton, so looking forward to this. The team's coming out already, look.
Absolutely, coin toss on the field with our officiating crew today, led by our referee, who is Dave Knight this afternoon, with his team of Kieran Smith, Roger Brown, Ollie Maskell and Steve Curry leading the way in this second versus third matchup in the Premiership South this afternoon. The 6-2 Bristol Aztecs taking on the 5-4 Solent Thrashers. Carl, what are we expecting from here? Obviously it's one team could level it up, or another one could, Bristol themselves could extend the run over the Thrashers in second place.
Yeah, the last time these two teams met, it was 43 points to Bristol and 13 points to Solent. So you would expect that Bristol have the edge here. They also had that very tight game against the Warriors, did the Bristol team. So they're looking like the team in form at the moment, but you never know. Solent will coming out with two quarterbacks, so they will be rotating at quarterback to give different looks. And you know, they're a good team. They're in third place. They split the difference between the two. They've got one win against the Blitz and one loss against the Blitz, which puts them in that third place position. So this is a strong outfit, the Thrashers, and we'll have to see how they will perform against Bristol on this second time.
Plenty to talk to you about this afternoon. We've just recently had the Under-19s European Championships out in Bologna in Italy, with Great Britain Under-19s taking part in that and registering two successful outings, one win, one loss, and also the GB Women's flying out to Finland late this week to take part in their own international tournament. And then some stuff to talk about from the coaches conference, Carl, as well, but we'll obviously bring you that later. Just a point here, unfortunately there's been some vandalism down here at Test Park, and ordinarily we'd bring you mics for the referees, but we're unable to do that this afternoon as a lot of the wiring down there at Test Park has been ripped up, as I say, due to vandalism. So we'll try and obviously just fill you in from an officiating point of view as best we can. But yes, we are just about to get underway here with the Aztecs kicking off. Thrashers will receive the ball at the start of this game, and we look like we're going to have a really good contest here this afternoon, Cole.
Yeah, we'll see how the Thrashers come out. We didn't get whether whether Bristol won the toss and deferred, or whether Solent actually wanted the ball. If they want the ball early on, we'll have to see which quarterback they come out. They've got that strong running game, do Solent, with some great running backs in their backfield that we saw, you'll remember it back in the 2019 finals when we saw them play. So they have some good talent on this Solent Thrashers team. And this is their first outing this season in the Premiership. They've done really well, as we say, sitting in that third place position as the kickoff gets underway.
And here we go, ball is up, nice deep kick that the Thrashers will let go through the back of the end zone, and then we'll see the ball come out to the 20-yard line, where the Thrashers and their offense will take the field to begin with. And it's number 15 quarterback who will take the field. Dale Greenfield himself will open the offensive series for the Thrashers, and they'll look to see if they can get the upper hand on these Aztecs in the early going of this one.
Bristol defense are a tough outfit as well. Just conceded 113 points all season, and Solent have scored 180 points. So this Bristol Aztecs defense are a tough outfit, and of course we know about the strength of that academy there, drawing players from the Pride and players from the Patchy team as well that they have down there, that make up those three big powerhouses that they're building in Bristol.
And obviously down in that area, Carl, the UWE Bullets at the Bucks level are also current national champions. And so football down in the southwest of the country is looking very healthy at the moment. So here we go, first down then. Little pitch on first down to the left-hand side of the line, and that Aztec defense stifles that after a gain of 3.
Yeah, they like to run the ball. Heavy set off that left-hand side. The ball went to number 25 for Bristol, for the Thrashers rather, which is Adam Bowley, and he's their star running back. Formerly played for the Bobcats, and now has been around for the Solent Thrashers for a number of years now. It's a really good running back to watch, so keep an eye on him, number 25.
You may be able to hear on the atmospheric mics. It's a lovely day down here, but there is a little bit of a breeze, which will impact the passing game possibly, as a flag flies on the far side of the field after a run on second down. A good positive run initially, but when that flag came out, it would suggest some sort of illegal procedure penalty prior to that play actually taking place. And say, unfortunately, and it's against the defense. Unfortunately, our refs aren't mic'd up today, but that is an encroachment penalty. So that will march the ball 5 yards further forward. Still not enough for a first down, but it'll be 2nd in inches.
Just trying to get that early push on that offensive line. The D line there jumped off, so it's going to be a short second down for the Solent Thrashers. Got that big running game. Let's see what they go to.
As you mentioned, Carl, lovely field down here, nice clear markings, and they do keep the ball on the ground again, and they will pick up the first down, only by a yard or so, but a successful outing for the Thrashers, and they'll be happy to see those chains moving and begin to get a foothold in this game.
So far so good for Solent Thrashers. They got themselves a first down, which I want to build on as this game progresses, and clearly their game plan coming out is to try and establish that strong running game they've got. You know, ball control, only have to throw the ball if they have to, and on that first series managed to pick up a first down.
I think, like anything, if you can keep the opposition's offense off the field, and particularly an offense like the Aztecs, then that's obviously going to help as the game goes on as well, and just pound down that defensive front. But on that occasion, they stay strong, and it's only a pickup of a couple, which will bring up 2nd down and 8.
And these two teams have faced each other before, so Bristol will know the scheme that Solent are coming in with, and they'll have drilled their defensive line to match up against those offensive linemen, running some stunts in the middle of that interior defensive line to see if they can free up a tackler. But again, they pick up 2 yards there, continuing to go between the tackles. 2 big tight ends coming in, and then 2 running backs in that backfield give the options for the Solent Thrashers on this running attack.
2nd and 8 for Greenfield, and the Thrashers still moving forward, positive every play so far, and the ball this time is pitched to the left, and the back tries to find the edge and does relatively successfully as Rafael Boyino picks up positive yardage again and makes a manageable 3rd and 3. And so far, as you mentioned, Carl, this Solent Thrashers offense ticking along nicely.
Yeah, trying to mix it up there and get to the edge. Number 25, who plays on that defensive end position or an outside linebacker position for Bristol, just had to bubble him out to the sideline. So 3rd down now and medium, 3rd and 4. See where they stick with that running attack, but you would imagine they'd have to try something a little bit different here. Maybe a play action, we'll see.
Big heavy formation though, 3 in the backfield, and they go with they go and try and draw that defense offside with a hard count, and number 97 for the Aztecs does jump. It's Joe Christian, and once again 5 yards tacked on for the Thrashers. So using this snap count very well as this running game getting it established.
That's twice they caught them out, isn't it, Matt? They'll have to tighten up on that. Well, Bristol, when you come out on the first series as a defense, you're often, you know, all that energy running through your body. You've just finished your warm-ups, you're ready to go, and sometimes you can just catch yourself going a little bit too early. Give them another first down.
Well, you want to try and make a statement on D, don't you, Cole? And there's a fine line as the ball this time is pitched to Rafael on the right side, and he's got a little bit of daylight in front of me. He picks up the first down and more into Aztecs territory across the 40 to down about the 37-yard line. Good offensive play there, and as we mentioned, just softening up this defensive front, using the inside and outside runs well in combination. And number 36, Rafael Boyino, does pick up a big play.
Yeah, that was nice. They just run out that wishbone, and then they pull a couple of guards, and everyone goes in that direction. They managed to get a block on the edge, seal it, and Bonino just runs up the sideline as much as he can. This is the danger with this attack. If you lose who's got the ball in the backfield, you can suffer a big loss.
So first down. Similar play to the far side, but that is read very well. Number 97 mentioned him a minute ago for the encroachment, but he does a positive job for his team this time, Joe Christian. And Rafael nowhere to go on first down.
Dom Fadani did a good job on the edge that time, coming up from safety spot to seal that edge and bring that runner down. So Bristol do well on defense, just making sure that that force is not broken, and they turn the play back inside.
The Aztecs' only 2 losses of the season have come quite predictably at the hands of the Warriors. 28-14 in the first encounter and 34-17 later on in the season. But 2 respectable scores against the Warriors, Carl, as they go to the air for the first time, and that's in and out of the hands of an Aztec defender. Tipped originally by Ryan Davis. Just that meant that Tapio Craig didn't have an opportunity to pick that ball off and stunt this Solent series.
Trying to get the ball to number 88, Matt Reed, with Solent, and that's the thing. You run on first down, you run on second down, and you keep running, and then all of a sudden you try and catch these defenses looking the other way, looking for the run, and you go for the pass. But Bristol defended that well. So 3rd and long now.
3rd and long indeed. 3rd and 10 in fact. In fact, more than 10 after that loss on first down. So 3rd and long. Solent will take some solace from the fact they've been able to move the ball on this defense, and that looks like going to be a false start against the Thrashers. So from 3rd and 11 it will be 3rd and 16, and the wheels starting to come off after a successful opening drive.
Yeah, just those little mistakes, that nice play on the edge, then the incomplete pass, and now this is going to bring up a really difficult 3rd and 20 or so. They're in a position where they could punt the ball here. But, you know, field position, you might tell yourself you've got 2 downs to get the first down here. It wouldn't do too much damage if you went for it on 4.
Well, let's see. That's a plan for another day, as 3rd and 16 is upcoming for Greenfield and the Thrashers. Still got that big, heavy set. 3 backs behind him. 1 receiver either side, and he does fake and then rolls into trouble, and a big play. Number 4, George Rhymes. George Rhymes of the UWE Bullets. Remember calling his name a number of times in that Bucks final call. Disruptive influence on the defense.
He's a devastating. Yes, we see you, George Rhymes.
And now there's no debate as to whether to go for it or punt, Carl, as the punt unit comes on. Rhymes again, close to getting a hand on that off the edge. And it takes an Aztecs bounce, and will come to rest at about the 37, 38 yard line, call it, where the Bristol Aztecs offense will take the field for the first time. So how do you sum up that for the Thrashers, Carl, originally?
It was a good first series. There was a couple of errors, wasn't there? The incomplete pass and then the sack on 3rd. On that 3rd and 15 from Rhymes, which was just a great individual effort by him. But they were getting that wishbone running game going with that fullback and 2 running backs in the backfield, quarterback under centre. So we'll see. They'll obviously come back to that. They've been refining that over a number of years. So we'll see whether Solent can mount another drive. But this time it's all about the Aztecs.
And here comes that Aztec offense. First down from their own 37, ball handed off initially. A little bit of daylight and some good running room, good work up front by the Aztecs offensive line. And number 27 on the carry. Fortunately, don't have a name for you at the moment with number 27 for the Aztecs, but straight to that no-huddle offense, trying to keep the Thrashers off key. Go to the air, big flick of the wrist, strong arm, and a man wide open, but overthrows the intended receiver, Chris Green.
Yeah, it's either Nia Mugabu who's in the backfield for Bristol. He's that quarterback that we heard so much about, UW Bullets, you remember, in the final. So we know he's got a hell of an arm. He's a hell of a runner. He's a very difficult player to defend against. So he's coming up with 3rd and 4. We'll see what he can do here.
No huddle again. It was just a flick of the wrist, and this time handed off on 3rd and 4, and breaks the first tackle, and then brought down, but not until he not only crosses midfield, but picks up an Aztec first down. We'll try and get a name for that back as soon as we can for you, number 27.
It's a real clash of styles, isn't it, here? As we've just got a Solent Thrasher players just slow to get up. But first down for Bristol. Just take your time, make your way back to the
Afternoon using the hashtag Thrashers versus Aztecs. If you want to let us know who you're supporting. Are you a Thrasher? Are you an Aztec? Or even if you know who number 27 is for the Aztecs, as Nyamagabu drops back again and flicks that wrist over the top and looks down the sideline. It just falls incomplete once again. Chris Green, intended receiver there.
Trying to stretch that defense, and Nyamagabu can do it because he's got that big arm, but he's been off target twice now. So they're having to rely on the running game to make the yards that they need, but Solent always have to be alert to that threat from Nyamagabu.
And the unfortunate thing is, when he, with this no-huddle offense that they're trying to run, Nyamagabu's having to wait for his receivers to get back 40 yards down from the field, so it's slowing things down a little bit. But he goes to the air again, nice quick feet, throws off his back foot, and it's good defense.
There was great pressure there from Solent Thrashers' defensive line. They brought an extra blitzer as well, so they bring 5, and Nyamagabu put under pressure. Has to get rid of it. 3rd and 10, so we'll see what the defense can do here.
Anytime you're throwing off that back foot, you're asking for trouble, but he's got such a strong arm, he can get away with it from time to time. Those quick feet get him out of a lot of trouble. Now 3 receivers to the right this time. Still 1 back, 1 receiver to the left for Nyamagabu. Goes up top again. Fires it on a rope and makes a beautiful pass and a completion. Pitch and catch to number 10, Kevin Adams, for the first completion of the afternoon for the Aztecs QB.
Yeah, it was a great reception. It's just a little there was really good for Nyamagabu.
And straight back to action as the back bounces off his line, then bounces out to the right. Makes 1 man miss, and as a flag comes out late on the play, makes 1 man miss and does pick up positive yardage, but we'll wait to see what the flag is.
Nice patience there from the running back, but I think there maybe was a hold at that line of scrimmage.
Indeed, great call, Carl. Once again, no referees mic'd this afternoon, but it is a hold against the Aztecs, which will march them back 10 yards. Size of the offensive line for the Aztecs is phenomenal. Some of those athletes on there just paving the way for these successful backs.
Yeah, and they come from all over Bristol, does this offensive line, well drilled, and of course they run the same scheme at the different levels as we go to an empty set here for Nyamagabu.
Here he goes, just stand and deliver. Ball in, great catch made, great tackle, good football all round. That time, Andrew Carr with the reception of another bullet from Nyamagabu.
Yeah, and it was good defending from Alex Cooksley, who drilled him immediately for a short gain.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers, 3 to the left, and he looks left, and it's his man on an out pattern. But that's good defensive play once again. Picks up 2 yards on the completion, but no more.
Yeah, just taking what the defense give him. You know, those cornerbacks playing about 6-7 yards off these receivers, so Nyamagabu spotting it quickly in this hurry-up offense, has a quick read of what he can see on the field, and then gets the ball out very quickly. Great arm.
Kevin Adams on the reception once again. Comes back this side, does Adams. Reapplies his lid after it was ripped off on that 2nd down play. Finds his position back in the slot on the right-hand side. Nyamagabu looking left, steps up in the pocket, now tucks the ball, he's got space in front of him, and he makes 1 man miss, and then's tripped. But not before he picks up 1st down, and he's got that triple threat, this young man, both with his arm and his feet as well. And once that ball's tucked, he is
Anyone contacts him.
This time he does have a back alongside him who takes that handoff, steps right, picks up good positive yardage before, amongst others, number 92, Lewis Minns, brings him down.
Really mixing it up nicely, aren't they, Bristol? You can see why they came so close to the Warriors in that first half of play, because they really do have a well-drilled offense. And as I say, these players run the same scheme in the different levels at which they play, whether it's university football, senior ball, or junior football. They're running the same scheme, so they learn it again and again, really get it drilled in.
Ball handed off once again, similar play with the back on the other side this time. 5 Thrashers meet him just beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well defended there by the Thrashers, and that's what they've got to do. You still want to play that basic, just take away their running game. You know, the pass is still more risky, and if Niamagabo decides to run, maybe he'll get caught, maybe the ball will come out. So it's still focusing on that running game with those men in the box, and taking that away first is what these Thrashers need to do.
2 backs this time. New running back in is number 29. And Sean Vaughan, close to the goal line, but just comes up short. Going to be on about the half-yard mark there.
Yeah, bringing up the big man.
But I believe there's a flag. And there is a flag indeed. And that one's coming back. So what has been a successful few run plays are wiped out by that penalty. And the Aztecs have to do it all over again.
You know, they're aggressive on this offensive line, and sometimes that can catch you out. A couple of holding penalties on this drive, so 20 yards of penalties they've had to overcome.
So it's 3rd and 12 and Niamagabo. You'd think he'd be going to the air, which he is, but a man on the swing pass to the left, he rolls, extends the play. There's a flag coming down again, which will more than likely be a hold, and he hits his man on the 5-yard line, which is green once again. But I do believe when that flag came out and Niamagabo extended the play as he rolled round one of his big offensive linemen, just couldn't help but grab a piece of jersey.
Yeah, I think it was number 51, and what do? You're the offensive lineman, your quarterback's rolling in behind you, and you know if you just get hold of his jersey, you'll just save your quarterback. So Niamagabo probably shaking by the hand, but it is going to be a penalty.
So we expect a holding signal here from our referee, Mr. Dave Knight. And there it is, holding against the offense again. So back-to-back penalties, but that is declined because it looked like from his signal there was an offensive pass interference penalty called.
Yeah, well, we didn't catch that one from our position here, but that's the bigger penalty, so Solent will take that one. So smart decision to take the bigger penalty.
25 yards marched in the wrong direction for the Aztecs on the back of those last 2 plays. So you'd expect now on 3rd and a bus ride, Niamagabo going back to the air, and if he doesn't get what he wants, will take off with those legs once again. Here he goes. Backfield empties very quickly. He steps up and he does tuck the ball because that coverage is good downfield, and he's going to pick up some of that penalty yardage, but not all of it. And he is hit just on the sideline. But good intelligent play both from the Aztecs offense, pick up the yardage, but also from that Solent defense in sort of bending but not breaking. But another flag, 3 penalties and another hold against this Aztec offense.
It's killing them. These penalties are killing them on this drive. The hold, the pass interference, so 2 holds now. What is that, 40, 50 yards of penalties?
30, we've had 2 holds and an offensive pass interference, which I make 35 yards worth, but they're back close to midfield. And the Thrashers can breathe again. Very disappointing for what is an exceptionally talented Bristol offense. We've already seen the ability of Niamagabo both with his arm and his legs. And he's looking once again. That pocket collapses once again, but he uses athleticism once, but he can't. Oh, he does. Escapes twice. Still on his feet. Jump cuts to the right-hand side. He's still on his feet. Another man miss. I can't even get my words out. He's juking even the commentary team. But there's another flag that comes out there. Some exceptional athleticism from Niamagabo. And it looks to be that may well be an incidental face mask penalty, because it seemed to come out just as the defender made the grab for Niamagabo, but we'll wait and see. Sorry, Carl, everything happening on that play.
I have no idea how Niamagabo escaped those tackles. He was dead to rights 10 yards behind his own backfield, and he's ducking and diving and dodging. Niamagabo, otherwise known as Houdini, getting himself out of that one.
Still just trying to clear this up with Dave Knight, and we've got So it is another offensive penalty. That's 4 in a row. But it is declined. Because it's declined, that will bring up 4th down. And you can see on the chains on the far side, it is still going to be 4th down and 35. In fact, 4th down and 30, in fact, doing them a disservice. But the punt team comes out nonetheless, and the Thrashers will be happy not only with their own performance, with the fact that the Aztecs imploded on those last few plays, looking to try and hit that corner. Nice line drive punt, which will go out at around the 10-yard line, maybe the 15 in fact, and we'll see the Thrashers offense back on the field again with Dale Greenfield.
Well, that was an entertaining drive, wasn't it, by Bristol? Everything on that one, passes and penalties and runs down the field that were brought. By Ivan Niamagabe.
So let's see that wishbone formation in effect once again, and they go to it on 1st down. But in fact what they do is they fake the initial handoff and then try with some deception to go around to the right hand side, and a late flag comes out. And at the moment this will be the 5th consecutive play apart from the punt, if this is against the Aztecs.
Trying to get Brindley further into the action, a wide receiver on that. One of that wishbone, wrinkles that they have is to get the ball to wide receivers. And that's going to be a face mask against Bristol. So Solent get a break on 1st down. It's going to be a big 15-yarder to set themselves up in much better field position. Dave
Knight's going to be wishing he'd bought some spare flags, the amount that he's throwing at the moment. But yeah, those Aztecs, 5 flags on the last 6 plays.
Wow.
Discipline. But like you say, I mean, offensively, when Niamagabe's extending the play like he is, those holds are going to come because those linemen just are really just trying to keep things alive as best they can for their quarterback. But here we go, Greenfield and the Thrashers with a little bit of breathing room now, close to their own 30-yard line. And the ball is fake pitched and then given to the fullback, who picks up 3. With 2nd and 7 upcoming. And that looks to be Thomas Bain, number 31, the fullback, with that carry.
Yeah, it's a wishbone. If you're good at it, it can be a really effective offense. Relies on that misdirection. You never know where the ball's going to go to one of those running backs or a wide receiver or a tight end or a fullback. Such as quick hitting plays between the guards. And that's what they try there to pick up that initial 3 yards.
Greenfield did well to sell the fact that he was pitching it as well. Pitched it and then gave it off to that fullback. So 2nd and 7. Up the middle once again with his power running game. Good pressure from the defensive front that time. But it is Patrick McGovern who manages to break the first tackle and fall forward for a pickup of a couple, which will bring up 3rd and 5.
I think it's Adam Bowley actually on that one. He's the running back that they're a really talented guy, Bowley, number 25 for Solent. And we've seen it. If he gets into the open field, he can really break a player wide open. So they will want to contain him. And they're doing well now with that 5-man defensive front of Bristol.
So 3rd and 5. Pitch to the right this time. Going laterally at the minute. And he doesn't make any progress. Maybe he will pick up a yard as the back. And that's Bowley once again. In fact, my apologies, 35 this time is Darren Short, I believe. If that was 35. So 4th down, short and sweet. Picked up 15 on the initial face mask, but then the Aztecs locked the door on those next 3.
The running back, which bubbles him out further, and then finally just the running back runs out of steam as they create that wall to force the play back inside.
It was Rafael Bogino, number 36, with that last carry. Our list here has Darren Short, 35 as a linebacker, but you never know. But I'm pretty sure it was Raphael on that third down carry. Officials blew that last play dead before it even got a chance to get going in this second versus third Premiership South encounter here from Test Park in Southampton. You can see the wind on the far side there in those trees, really blustery at the moment. Maybe be able to pick it up on our atmospheric mics as well. We're still discussing something here before the play can restart. Is this the kind of encounter you expect to call from these two?
Yeah, so far I think it has gone the way we thought, which is Bristol with their exciting offense, and then Solent just with that grind it out wishbone offense, control the ball, try and move down the field, keep the score nice and tight. The thing that's made the difference so far is the penalties, isn't it? With Bristol with so many yards of penalties now, just Nia Mugabe not a chance to really make an impact on the scoreboard yet.
So it's Louis Mokes who is back to punt. Nice snap, good take, and a lovely drive. And good coverage as well, but takes a Bristol bounce. And the Thrashers sideline scream on the special teams unit to stop the progress of that ball, and eventually Matthew Gregg, number 52, does just that. But a nice punt, but took a lovely Bristol bounce. Like a heavyweight boxing match, this, Carl. Body blows left, right and centre, but no knockout punches at the moment.
No, nothing yet. But you do feel like Bristol have the edge, and that Solent are kind of holding on with their defence, just trying to contain Nia Mugabe. They're going to need to do something on the third down plays against the Nia Mugabe run. So far they've not put a linebacker in to spy him, or I'm sure they've got something going on the defensive line where they're trying to contain him and keep him in the pocket. But you're going to need more than that against a runner of Nia Mugabe's talent to really shut down his own running game.
So here comes the Aztecs on their second possession of this first quarter. Been a long first quarter so far, no doubt due to all the stoppages with the flags. And on first down, the ball is handed off on a little counter edge play. And it's good lateral pursuit by the Thrashers defense. And 87 is Denzel Harmit, who can go a long way sideways, but unfortunately nowhere forwards.
Just want to give a shout out to number 41 as well on that Solent team, who is Louis Mokes, playing linebacker, who came in to make a really good play on that one.
Nice little step that time, lowers his shoulder and then is met after the initial contact. That same runner again, Harmit, who does pick up 4 yards this time, in fact going close to 6 to bring up 3rd and 4. Pivotal play here for the Thrashers.
Difference on the play there was that Kevin Adams delivered a really nice block. Number 10, the wide receiver, delivered a really nice block on the linebacker, freed up the running back for those 4 yards, and this is where Nia Mugabe's dangerous on these 3rd and 5 plays.
To the air then, Nia Mugabe, and he stands in and then feels the pressure and rolls to his right, eyes downfield beautifully, then puts a laser down the sideline looking for his intended receiver Otis Newbury, but that falls incomplete, and a successful outing from the Thrashers defense on that one. 3 and out for the Aztecs. Really
well defended by the Thrashers, and they're getting some pressure from that defensive line. They've got a good defensive line, and they're managing to get some pressure on Nia Mugabe, which is exactly what they've got to do. If he gets flustered, we have seen him make mistakes before and take chances that he doesn't need to take. So nice job on 3rd down.
So here we go then. Punting this time for the Aztecs. Loads of time. Positions it again for the sideline. It takes a beautiful Aztec bounce and continues to bounce all the way into the end zone for a touchback.
He went for the sideline. These footballs, they're so unpredictable. You'd expect that one to go out on the sideline, but it doesn't. Bounces, drops straight back into the field of play and goes all the way out the back of the end zone.
So 2 possessions each, still scoreless on the board. Get in touch with us here at the show. Hashtag Thrashers versus Aztecs. We'd love to hear from you. We're try and bring you some results, ongoing scores as they go during the afternoon as well. And at halftime we'll have a little bit of a chat about the under-19s Great Britain side out in Italy recently, and the GB women who are flying out to Finland, along with some of the news from the world of Britball following the recent coaches convention So here we go again then, the Aztecs with that familiar wishbone formation. And they barrel forward, picking up 3 yards on first down. And I suppose they're going to keep trying to wear down this defensive front of the Aztecs, Cole.
They are for now. They do have a different look to Solent. You know, they do have a different quarterback that we'll get a chance to see later on. They come in and, you know, he's much more of a passing quarterback. But for right now, it's 0-0. It's a tight game, and they're sticking with that original game plan, which is to get this wishbone running offense going. They've had some success already with some runs down the sideline. They made some yards and relied on some penalties as well. But there's no reason to panic right now if you're Solent.
But they do indeed have that new quarterback in, who hands the ball off, does Olivier de Ruyter, number 3. So it's a different quarterback, same strategy at the moment, as Bowley is the recipient of that latest carry, and that will end the first quarter. Scoreless here at Test Park in the second versus third battle in the Premiership South. The Solent Thrashers hosting the Bristol Aztecs, and the score is 0-0. Intriguing is the best way to describe it at the moment. I think, like you say, Carl, 2 contrasting style offenses, 2 big hitting defenses, speed as well as size on those defenses, and it's got all the makings of a low-scoring game unless one defense gets to the point where they tire so much that somebody like Nia Magabo can exploit and open the scoring gates.
Yeah, we know the Aztecs can put up points. They've been doing it all season. They put up, 257 points compared to 180 from the Solent Thrashers. So, it could get lit up at any moment, could this game, by a big run from Bowley or one of those running backs on Solent's side. If they just manage to break that tough defense, or from a play from the magic of Nia Magabo. But right now, 0-0, and I think Solent will be happy with that. They're keeping it tight, and that suits their offense. It's difficult to come from behind if you are really dependent on that wishbone. So they're not behind. They don't have to panic. They can stick to their game plan, which is exactly what they will want to do.
Indeed, and 2 successful plays on first and second down. See third and short for de Ruyter and the Thrashers. Be a major bonus if they could complete this. And he goes up top, looks outside, and his man's got that ball, and it just dropped short. And his intended receiver kind of looked comfortable under it for a while, did Lewis Key. Almost like, de Ruyter, you put that in a real nice spot for me. And it just seemed to die at the end in that wind.
And this is what Olivier de Ruyter brings them. He brings them that ability to throw from under centre, to get the ball out quickly, and he's got a good arm, de Ruyter. So he gives them that ability to stretch the defence, which is something that the Thrashers will want to do, because it keeps that wishbone offense honest, and it means that Bristol can't have all the defenders in the box. They have to honour the fact that de Ruyter can go deep.
So unfortunately for the Thrashers, that's going to be a 3 and out for them after a successful first and second down. High snap, fielded very well, and they're using advantage of the wind. But here's Green, that's going to be a high tackle. No flag out yet, so maybe has he gotten away with that one? Because it did seem to go high above the pads onto the helmet area, but I don't see any flags around.
No, Kevin Adams is saying the same thing you do, which is, didn't he have my face mark? Didn't he have my helmet on that one? But we'll have a look on the replay how close he got. You watch George Rhymes off the edge. He's getting very close to those punts, is George Rhymes, but they managed to get it away. It's a beautiful punt. Here's that arm going up from 94. It does look high to me. I mean, maybe the referee wasn't in the right place, or just wanted to give his arm a rest. He's thrown so many flags so far.
Yeah, it seemed to slip up, and like you say, Adams looking at the officials, they have to say, hang on, anybody? Are we allowed to be grabbing helmets to drag me down? But nevertheless, it looks like there is a flag back. Actually, as I look to my left, there is a flag back, obviously, which is why the play is coming all the way back. It seems like the Thrashers were guilty of a pre-kick penalty. May well have been holding as Rhymes came round the edge. It does appear, though, that the Thrashers are going to be made to kick again by the Aztecs. I think Adams has already proved on his offensive exploits so far that he's explosive, got a good pair of hands, and he may well be able to make something happen, particularly if, with this wind, the Thrashers out-kick their coverage unit, giving Adams a little bit of space to manufacture some sort of return. But again, big discussions rather going on between the officials.
It's normally just trying to get the placement of the ball. I think the decisions are made quite quickly, and then it's just discussions about, well, where do we put the ball given the call. That's what they seem to be discussing.
Another player there I recognise from the Bucks national final, number 11 there, Billy Elliott, who once again was very influential in the victory for the Bullets earlier this year. Rhymes and Elliott, a destructive tandem for the Bullets and obviously for this Bristol Aztecs outfit.
And it's great when you get an opportunity to do that. You know, you play at university with your mates and you really get to know them over those 3-4 years that you're there, and then you get to you get to escalate and go to the Premiership club like Bristol that are so well drilled, lots of the same familiar faces, lots of the same coaches, the same scheme, and it just gives you that transitions. You know, they become seamless, don't they, in terms of your career in American football. You know, working with the same coaches to continue to evolve and grow as a player. So it's a great setup. It's certainly the way forward, and Bristol really showing the way.
And better than anything, you get to play American football 12 months of the year.
You do, if you're young enough to do that.
Take the opportunities while you can, gentlemen. They don't last forever. A very contemplative Dave Griffiths there as he waits for the Thrashers to come up with their solution for this 4th down dilemma after the penalty has marched them all the way back.
Still no call from the referee.
No, I think at the moment he's waiting for that sideline of the Aztecs to make a decision. One of the officials did make the way over there to discuss what was going on, but now here we go. Clock back on, and we can go again.
There's people in the car park there, like sat enjoying the game, enjoying the sun with their dog out on a Sunday. Here we go then, 4th down. Sorry, 2nd down.
Yeah, it is 2nd down. Interesting. Sorry, come from 4th down punt. Oh, it's a 1st down. So obviously, therefore, we're just getting word. Didn't see the official, but that would have been obviously a penalty against the Aztecs, which brought up an automatic 1st down for the Thrashers, and will keep that drive alive. So that's what the explanation would have been on the far side to the Aztecs coaching staff. But on 1st down, the Aztecs shut the door.
That's some great defense. Adam Butterley's not easy to get down, and the gang tackling really well between the tackles are these Aztecs, shutting down these inside runs, forcing them outside, and then they're shutting the door there as well. So it's really difficult for this team to get anything going, Solent, against this tough Bristol defence. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 again, with De Ruyter still in at quarterback, Bowley alongside him. So no more of a spread formation we see at the start of the 2nd quarter. Motion on the right. De Ruyter steps back, flips a little pass to the outside. Great textbook tackle there. Open field textbook tackle to bring down Solent's receiver, Matt Hewlett.
Yeah, you'll see they've changed formation, so they've moved from wishbone now to the spread. There's just a little bit of motion there. The receiver comes in, and then he's going to go out, and they try and get the ball to him straight away. But it's just great closing from the cornerback that sees it, number 23, and comes off his initial assignment to break down and stop that for no gain. So Solent trying something else, but you know, Bristol effectively will defend the spread offense every single week against their own offense. So what do you do, Matt? It's tough against this Aztecs defense.
Well, like you say, they had the matchup there because Hewlett was wide open, but Craig, as you mentioned, came off his man as De Ruyter goes up top, and that's picked. 1st turnover of the day. Interception by number 6, Ryan Morton. Goes up high, climbs the ladder, reels in the interception, and the Aztecs are in great shape now.
You felt like it was coming, didn't you, the breakthrough that Bristol needed. You'll see, to watch the top of your screen now. De Ruyter has a lot of time, which is good, but it's just better position there. Ryan Morton just in a much better position in his cornerback than the receiver, and the receiver really has to turn into a defender on that play and try and bat that ball down. So nice position from Ryan Morton and a nice catch when he got the opportunity to make the pick.
difficult as well, Carl. If you're throwing an out route like that and you're going to put that much air under the ball, it's a long way for that ball to travel, and the defender just has to sit and watch. You know, you've got to really, like this man has been showing early on in the game, you've really got to try and put a pass out to the sideline a bit more on a rope than that. So first down, and this time Niamagabo has to just eat the football, look to try and go to his right, but there was nothing there, and that defensive front closed up any gaps for Niamagabo to be able to run. So second and long upcoming for number 2 and the offense. He's looking the same way, and this time intended receiver over his shoulder. That's Otis Newbury, the intended receiver, out on that little 5-yard out pattern. And it's just so fast, this offense. We're on third down already.
Well, they did a really good job this Solent on first down, stopping Niamagabo between the tackles, and with that incomplete, it's come up really quick. They're going to take a timeout at Bristol and have a think about what they do on this third down. Can they need to capitalise on the turnover. So far it's a tight game. They've got the ball in good field position, and they'll want to talk this over and see whether they can capitalise on that turnover.
So while we've got the opportunity then, Carl, very briefly, we mentioned about the under-19s, just recent trip out to Bologna, where they had 2 games out there, and as the Aztecs come back out, we'll just very briefly fill us in, Carl, about.
Yeah, the under-19s, they got their first international win against Spain, which was fantastic to see. Congratulations to those young lads and everyone that's built that program. There was a loss against Finland, but that win against Spain, watching that, what a bunch of legends they were to go out there and get that win. And everyone here was really excited about the fact that the under-19 program that's been built over a number of years managed to get that win. So congratulations to them, and we look forward to them building on that success.
The future not only of the level of football you're watching now, but also university, as the ball is handed off on third down. But again, a very, very impressive defensive stop. Those defensive linemen staying at home, recognizing their assignments, and not allowing the Aztecs to capitalize on that turnover, as you mentioned, Cole. Fourth down.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Aztecs decide to do here with this field position. This is, you know, potential fake punt territory, and they've just been doing those little pooch kicks to the sideline. They've had success with that so far. It's a 0-0 game. Plenty of time for both of these teams, but neither one of them can really get a stranglehold on the game so far.
So punter is out there, and it's a bad snap. He fields that very well. And a little, once again, that pooch kick, and it takes a Thrashers bounce this time. Downed by Alex Ampleford to pin the Thrashers back on about their own, looking from where we are there, their own 5-yard line or so.
Well, it's tense, isn't it? It's you're waiting for the Aztecs to kind of bust something into the end zone, but Solent really being strong on defense, especially on that first down, forcing the incompletions. They're putting pressure on Niamagabo so he doesn't have time to just sit back and throw using his quick arms. Kiwi tweets coming in, we see those popping up on the screen, and we'll come back to some of those. So it's 0-0 midway through this second quarter, so it really is a battle now of almost like attrition really between Bristol and Solent for one of these teams to see whether they can get the control of the game. No one standing out so far.
So here we go then, first down, Thrashers, and a little trickery on the reverse on first down, and the runner's still going laterally and now manages to cut up field before he's met by Mr. Rhymes, who just gives him a gentle shove, and due to the stature of the runner, number 81, he ends up meeting the floor rather more quickly, does Reese McLawrence, than he would have liked.
It's a kind of casual hit from George, wasn't it? It was a nice hit to bring that runner down, but the Thrashers trying to mix it up a bit, inject a little bit of excitement into their own offense to see whether they can get things moving and keep this Bristol team off balance.
So second down. Oh, and Billy Elliott jumped there but immediately pointed to the offensive lineman, who dropped his head as if to say, yep, that'll be me.
That body language, he's got to work on that. One of those equivocal plays. You don't want to drop your head, stand up proud as if it wasn't you, but looks like it's going to go against the Thrashers.
Needs to work on his poker face a little more than that. There's big number 76. Scott Barnes, guilty as charged, Your Honour. And that'll march the Thrashers 5 yards further back, as I'm just looking some scores from around the league this afternoon, and there's the signal, 5 yards back. Interestingly, the London Olympians have forfeited before the kick-off this afternoon, Carl. See if we can get any more news on that and as to why, because the Olympians, once again, over the last few years, have rebuilt that programme and got themselves back into the Premiership.
They've had a really tough season, the Olympians. They're 0-9 currently, only scored 50 points and really struggling. So interested to find out what happened there.
So here we go then, second down. Motion coming across, taps the quarterback, let him know that he's there, then a little counter play, and the counter play picks up maybe 2-3 yards. So a lot going on pre-snap, a lot going on post-snap, for not a lot of territory. Billy Elliott amongst others there, meeting the runner.
Yeah, you'll see it here, motion, taps the quarterback, says there, and then just a handoff up the middle. It's a little bit of a distraction play, isn't it? But they can't get the key block that they need to get that running back free. Bristol doing a good job beating these initial blocks and making the tackle.
So third down upcoming in this Premiership South clash. That's easy for me to say. De Ruyter remains at quarterback. Goes to the air and he has time and he goes up top again, and that ball's going to sail, but again just out of the grasp of his intended receiver, Matt Hewlett.
They've just not got the speed, these Thrasher receivers, to get behind these athletic cornerbacks that Bristol have. So far it's been good coverage whenever they've tried to get the ball over the top. Do you stop running those plays? No, you don't, because you want to keep that offense honest, and you want to make sure that you are testing that defense, even if the chances of success are less than optimal.
Thank you, Ken Wilford, on the socials as fourth down. Plays up and, oh, it's in trouble. He tries to pitch the ball because there was a great edge rush once again from the Aztecs. Didn't allow the punter time to actually get that ball onto his boots, and as a result, the Aztecs are now knocking on the door. Yes, Ken Wilford, thanks on the socials. Apparently, the Olympians only turned up with 25 players, which is why that game was forfeited. Understandable, trying to preserve the safety of those 25 squad members. So yeah, a real shame, like you say. I know a couple of years back we did the Div 1 final with the Olympians and the Manchester Titans. There it is, thanks Ken Wilford. And obviously at that stage, both teams looked like they were going from strength to strength. The Titans since then have upped their game and really found their home in the Premiership North. But as you mentioned, the Olympians with a real struggle of a season at 0-9 so far. So first down, trundle up the middle from the running back. Neil Mugabe not having to worry about using his legs at this stage, as Sean Vaughan on the carry.
So can Bristol punch it in from here? They've got great field position following that mess up on the punt. Neil Mugabe with a running back to his left-hand side.
Sean Vaughan once again.
So they're just taking their time. Should bring up third down, and they will want to get in here. You don't get lots of opportunities in American football, you know, in a tight game like this against a good defense like the Thrashers with such great field position. So you want to play the percentage plays that you can rely on to get you into the end zone.
So this time Vaughan looks to go laterally, and unfortunately, in fact it's not Vaughan, it's that number 27, and we can confirm that the gentleman's name is Abel. I don't know if it's his first name or surname, but thanks to Thing 5 for letting us know that running back number 27 is Abel.
Rely on things 1 and 4 for any other queries that we have. That was a nice tackle there from Alex Cooksley, coming in from his defensive back position. Solent really playing well on defense. Been impressed by them in terms of shutting down these runners of this Bristol team.
Unfortunately, their running back not able to make any impact on the end zone. I'm here all week, which a lot of you will be distraught about. But that is a timeout called by the Aztecs as the field goal unit came on. So I just want to discuss whether or not James Green is going to attempt this three-pointer. There's a number of you getting in touch supporting both the Aztecs and the Thrashers and Marcelo Timas. There you go, balance both sides. Jay Allen for the Thrashers and Marcelo Timas for the Aztecs.
Both these teams well supported, got good bunches of fans, and it's good to see that support coming in as you watch the live stream with us here on this game of the week. The Thrashers done so well. I've been so impressed by them in this first Premiership outing. They've came up from the Premiership. We knew they had that great running game, and they really made it count to get into this third position. And they're really running Bristol tight as they come out for this field goal.
Marcelo Timas on the socials confirms that it is Abel Mampaka, number 27. As the field goal unit remain on the field, the kick is up, and the kick is no good, wide to the left. So James Green not able to break the deadlock, and the Thrashers escape that turnover. Well, pretty much where they were about 5 minutes ago.
Wow, well done to the Thrashers defense, really holding firm. I mean, when you get backed up like that after a turnover, you know your defensive coordinator will shout at you and say, go out there, you know, make a play, let's make a stand, let's defend this nil scoreline that we've got. Let's not allow them to get into the end zone. Exactly what the Thrashers do. Really good job on the running downs, really good job shutting down Nia Magabo, and you know, it paid off because the field goal's no good, and Solent get the ball back. 0-0 game, still well into the second quarter now.
So first down, Thrashers once again with new life whenever you can hold a team like the Aztecs. As Greenfield's back on and goes to the air, and the completion is not made. Ball bounces out with the pressure there applied by Ryan Morton, man who last had his hands on defense on the football for the Aztecs. So good in coverage, but also good with the tackle too is Morton.
But they've been running on first down so much, trying to catch Bristol. They ran a reverse last time on first down, but they're trying different things on first down. But there's a penalty on that play, and that is going to march the Thrashers forward. So penalty, it's a big one as well. Looks like a 10 or a 15 yarder. So that's against the Aztecs, and Solent continue to benefit from these penalties.
Yeah, I think that's now getting close to 10 penalties on the afternoon already, and we're not even at half-time on the visiting Aztecs. But again, that keeps the Thrashers alive, gives them a bit of breathing room. Greenfield drops back again. Ball is tipped and almost intercepted. What's your thoughts on this two-quarterback system, Carl? I mean, for me, it has its pros and cons, but I don't like the way that you don't allow a quarterback to get into rhythm and to grow into the game. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
You're seeing it more and more in football teams, because you don't often get a quarterback with all the skills that you want. You know, somebody with a great arm who can run a wishbone, who's smart. You know, all the skills of a quarterback. Sometimes you have to split them across two players. Watch this bat up now. Look at that, Billy Elliott with that big reach that he's got, number 11. And does a really good job taking away that throwing lane, and that was very nearly picked. But you know, if you've got a talented quarterback that can do it all, then yes, you'd want that consistency. But sometimes those skills and capabilities you have to split across two players.
So Greenfield once again drops back, looks to the air. The brush is coming, and he's wrapped up this time. Apologies, wrapped up and taken down is Greenfield, and that rush coming from the left-hand side of the Aztecs line is almost unstoppable at the moment.
Really is, and they're playing really well at this Bristol Aztecs, but hurry up, go Solent, and we'll see what they can try and do here and catch them out.
Just keep your eye on that left-hand edge rusher for the Aztecs, who once again comes with pace. Ball is out quickly, and the ball is completed, but only as far as the line of scrimmage. And Solent complete that to Lewis Key, but that will bring up fourth down, I believe.
Just a quick hitting arrow pass. Receiver just runs that quick out, get the ball to him, and it's great if you only need 4 yards, but they need more than that.
So it is fourth down, it's fourth down and 10. So the punting unit back out once again, and we saw what happened last time this punt team came on. That edge just completely crushed the pocket and didn't give the punter any opportunity. Let's see if they come again. They look like they're going to. This time the ball is up, but it's a high hanging kick. The wind direction, though, gets into Adams' arms, and Adams manages to avoid his own man, looks for the edge, and then just escorted out of bounds, close to midfield, where the Aztecs will go again.
Yeah, the kicker has to pull his foot on this one. We'll come back to replay if we can of the punt, but he has to pull his foot just because there's so much pressure coming from that defensive line. You'll see here, most of them stood up in those 2-point stances, and that pressure's going to come off that left-hand side and up the middle. He has to pull his foot at the last second, and that means the ball goes high. It's well taken by the defender. But number 34, watch his pursuit here. Uses the sideline, tracking that near side hip. Does a really nice job getting that returner out of bounds. Does Dan Lucia, the defensive back, formerly played for Sussex Thunder and now with Solent. That does a nice job on that play. But it's pretty decent field position from Bristol after that.
So 39-yard line, first down. Ngonga drops back, and that over the defender's hands. And for a minute there, I thought that we were going to have a possibility not only of an interception by Cooksley, but also a pick six. But he just lost sight of the receiver. And once again, Kevin Adams is the go-to guy for Nyamagabu.
Yeah, you called it well. They're trying to get the ball to Kevin Adams, who's the number 2 receiver at the top of the field. You see there's contact there at 23. We'll get back there soon. Well,
that's the problem with the speed of this offense. Replays are difficult to come by. Adams again hotting up. And it appears that Nyamagabu has his favourite receiver. And that's going to be a pickup of 5 yards. 6 yards, in fact, for 2nd and 4. Here he goes now, Nyamagabu back to the air again, and he goes out to the right-hand side, and that one's incomplete. Down at his shoe straps. Can't haul that one in, can the receiver? So all of a sudden, it's 3rd and 4. Here's that initial play to Adams again, Cole.
Yeah, it's just number 2 receiver at the top of the screen. There's contact right there, and then Adams does a good job getting behind the cornerback, and there's the attempt. Actually, 23 does a really nice recovering tackle on that. But yeah, even if you have contact, you've got to make sure that you keep your eyes on that receiver. Don't let him get behind you.
Play blown dead. You haven't missed any action there. The play was blown dead on that particular attempt. I'm not quite sure why. 4th down marked on the side, but I'm pretty sure it's only 3rd down, and now that will be a free play for Nyamagabu, who uses his feet to get out wide, then slings the ball down the sideline, but it's incomplete. So it said 4th down on the board. We pretty much think it was 3rd down, but the defensive line jumped, so regardless, I think the outcome of that play will be a 1st down. So they needed 4 for that 1st down, and I think that defensive penalty will march the chains.
It's a rare mistake from the Thrashers defence. You can see our referee, you confirm that, Matt, so that's a nice call. And that is going to be a 1st down for Bristol. And that will frustrate the Thrashers because they had them bottled up again, didn't they? And Nyamagabu has come out really determined on this play to do as much as he can with his arm towards the dying minutes of this 2nd half to try and get the Aztecs to score that he feels they deserve.
So 1st down, even though the marker says 2nd down. Definitely 1st down after the 5-yard penalty. There we go, corrected on the far side of the field as you look. Ball into the hands of Mapaka, and Mapaka trundles forward. In fact, 21, my mistake. New running back again, Mahajan. Bikrant Mahajan is the new back for the Aztecs.
Cormac Mead's a little bit slow getting up there. It's taking its toll having to deal with these big offensive linemen that like to get their paws on you and push you back, but he is still in the game and made a play on that one.
2nd down, Nyamagabu to the air, all sorts of times, scans to the right, comes back to the middle, he's got a man, and what an athletic play in the end zone. Number 39 for the Thrashers, Batatambe Tanyi. And it's not a touchdown, as this screen may suggest. It's an interception by the Thrashers, which keeps the game alive. Wow, Carl.
Sure is. What a great play. What a great way to defend that one. It was just Nyamagabu trying to get to the under the shadow of those goalposts. But really great play by Tanyi in terms of coming up and just out jumping that receiver for the ball. Defensive back taught to drive back to that football if you can. Did a really nice job on that. Such a tight game, Matt. I didn't expect this. 0-0. Thrashers defense playing out of their skin.
Absolutely.
To keep in this one.
One turnover each. Here it is again, Carl. Talk to us about that coverage.
So Nia Mugabe with loads of time. Look, he's got absolutely all the time. He goes to his second option and he just lofts that one up. And it's just a great jump play by Tanya, who just, balls after it. Maybe he plays basketball as well, because that was a great jump ball. Yeah,
it looked like he was rebounding that off the backboard. But equally as well, with the wind conditions here and the strength of Nia Mugabe's arm, it almost looked like, because you'd never imagine Nia Mugabe underthrowing anybody. So I think that ball got caught up in the wind there and gave the defender Tanya an opportunity to make a spectacular pick in the end zone. So first down, pick up of 5 yards for the Thrashers, and they're on the board, in business again. There's that little arrow route to the other side, and this is a nice start to this drive. Greenfield back in at quarterback this time.
Yeah, confidence growing of these Thrashers, isn't it? The defense playing so well with the pick, and then, they're managing to shut down Nia Mugabe and intercept him and shut down these runners. And that infectious sort of confidence is now beginning to impact this offense.
Chains are moving. No huddle offense again. Greenfield standing. Flips the ball out, and that's a good tackle again. Kind of telegraphed that pass where that was going a little bit, did Greenfield. But nevertheless, another completion. Unfortunately, though, for a loss of a couple. So 2nd and 11. Now they do huddle up.
Bristol defense trying to reassert themselves on this game. So we've had interceptions from both of these defenses. And I do love these types of games, Matt. Tight defensive encounters, plays in the end zone to stop the touchdown. What do you think, Matt? Your favourite type of game too?
Yeah, I love these games. They're amazing. Being an offensive-minded ex-coordinator, ex-head coach, I love a 0-0 battle, lighting the scoreboard up. And see what Greenfield can do to find the switch as he goes up top. And he's got a man, and it's kind of through the hands of Lewis Key. You can see where the shadows are. He would have looked back for that ball and got an eye full of sun. It would have been hard to locate the football coming out of the sunlight, but did seem to lose it at the very last minute.
Been impressed by both of these defenses secondary, where both these offenses have tried to test the defensive secondaries, and both of those secondaries have been up to the task. There's been no deep connections in this game so far.
3rd and long then, 3rd and 11. Greenfield, he's going to go to the air again, and he's under pressure, and he comes out to this near side, and that's through the hands of Matt Hewlett and straight into the face mask of Tavua Craig.
So much pressure coming on both these quarterbacks, and these defensive lines doing a good job. Bristol's defensive line there did a really nice job, as 86 wishes he had another chance at that one, but the ball did come out a little skew whiff, Matt, I would say, on that, and gave the receiver a difficult catch to make if he was going to make it.
Well, like you say, Greenfield having no time to set his feet, to scan the field. On the opposite side of the ball, Nia Mugabe has got all the time in the world that he needs. He's not been under any pressure, and if he is under pressure, his quick feet are there for him to elude that. That's a beautiful kick. It takes a Thrashers bounce inside the 10-yard line down to the 7, and what a momentum shifting kick that is in terms of field position.
Yeah, and the Thrashers continue not just to hold on, but do their own bit in this game on special teams. That was a really nice play, and some good hits going in there on that special teams play as well. So Nia Mugabe with much worse field position than he's had in his last 2 possessions. But this defense has been equal to everything Bristol have thrown at them so far, and it's been penalties and turnovers that have prevented Bristol so far getting into this end zone.
A few score updates from around the country. The Alphas leading 13-7 against the Warhawks. The Leicester Falcons 7-0 ahead of the Shropshire Revolution. And the Darlington Steam 7-0 ahead of the Presidents at the moment. We'll bring you more updates as and when we get them through the afternoon. But we're going back. First down, Bristol inside their own 10-yard line to start this one. Let's see whether or not the Solent team can apply some pressure. And on first down, Mampaka picks up 5 yards. Very quick hitting play, which didn't seem to be of that much benefit, but strong running from Mampaka opens the playbook up on second down from Niamagabo. But already with the plan, it looks like a designed run for him as he tucks the ball straight away and goes around the right edge. Sorry, the left edge we got, and gets close to midfield with a fantastic run. Good pursuit by number 46 for the Thrashers. Rowan Milner manages to drag him down, but there's a flag on the far side of the field though. And let's see which way where that has been thrown. I reckon this is against the Aztecs again, so another big play is going to be brought back, I think. More than likely for a hold. Illegal formation. Chris Green, number 5, waves hopefully towards the Thrashers, but no movement yet. Nobody seems to have any clue. Green again, trying to get himself a job with the BAFA crew. And now it looks like the Aztecs are marching backwards. Here's the call. Once again, apologies, we have no referee mic today. There's been some vandalism here at Test Park where the wiring has been pulled up, but we'll try and see what the signal is. Not quite sure on that signal, Carl, if I'm perfectly honest with you, but it's against the Bristol Aztecs.
They're like illegal hugging there, didn't it, the signal? Just the referee's arms splayed wide. Illegal hugging against Bristol. Anyway, it's going to march them back. I felt like Niamagabo, they try and move the whole of the offensive line there, don't they? They pull the guards and then they have running back coming out and blocking on that edge as well, and you just feel like there was a hold or something went in there to prevent that play. But Niamagabo showing that he's always a dangerous threat if he gets into the open field.
So I assume illegal hugging is just one step below a hold.
Yeah. We'll get all those different arm motions graded for you as the game progresses.
Although, having said that, it looks like it's going to be called on the Thrashers because the chains have been moved.
Well, whoever vandaled the cable for the referees really causing us problems. So well done. It would be nice to have the referees calls so we know what's going on.
Even a couple of blokes here in the commentary booth with the experience of American football we have of 30 odd years worth, not quite sure as that one. Lovely step out of the tap goal from Mampaka on that play. And so yeah, that penalty was against the Thrashers then. And we'll have a replay of Mampaka's latest endeavours.
He's run really well.
Sorry,
you see,
no,
this is the play with Niamagabo at the edge. You just manages to squeeze through that hole there and cuts back. We're looking for penalties on the backside of the field. Can't really see anything coming in. There's a flag right there on the sideline at the top of the screen.
Comes out late as well.
And it comes out late. Maybe it's some sort of sideline infringement.
And here's that latest Mampaka run on first down.
Huge hole there. You see the size of that. I mean, that is just fantastic blocking by this well-trained Bristol offensive line. And Mampaka does everything he can to exploit that for a gain of 7 or so. Big,
Powerful run. And there's a play we just missed while we were showing you the replays. Niamagabo goes down field, and what it actually is an interception. Intercepted by number 29. Big play, Glenn Trafford-Smith.
Wow, it's surprising that Niamagabo's now been picked off twice, isn't he? He's a risk taker, Ivan Niamagabo, and I guess there's not much left on the clock in terms of this second quarter, but great job by the Thrasher defence again.
Precocious talent indeed, as Greenfield completes one of his own. And 86 called his name a few times. Matt Hewlett picks up the reception that time. The clock continues to roll. But positive yardage of 5 on first down for the Thrashers. So this heavyweight contest continues. Body blow, left, right and centre. Initial pick by the Aztecs, and the latest 2 turnovers have come from the defensive backs of the Thrashers, picking off Niamagabo twice in the last few minutes. Greenfield looks like a designed quarterback run as he drops back to pass, and he's got some open field in front of him, and he's still on his feet, past the 40, up to the 35-yard line, down to the 30, and Greenfield showing his wheels.
Yeah, great run from Greenfield, wasn't it? He's been doing that all season, and that's why they have him in on those when they need that shifting quick runner, difficult to locate. You can see here, just follows his running back through initially, and then cuts over to his left-hand side, and now he's in open field using all the talent he's got to get to that sideline. So beautiful run by Greenfield, and if you can do it, near Mugabe, so can I.
Definitely looked to be a QB designed run there. Pulled that ball down very quickly as the Thrashers take a timeout. With time running down in this first half here. Get in touch with us. Hashtag Thrashers versus Aztecs. Many of you are doing so this afternoon already. Vocalising your support. Love to hear from you here on the show. With what is for me, an unexpected 0-0 scoreline. I thought it might be tight, but given the evidence of the first game, Bristol running out 43-13 winners over the Warriors, it's obvious that the Warriors have done their homework. And on first down, the Warriors appear to be going for a field goal.
Thrashers with the kick here. And that one's not going to be successful because that's blocked at the line of scrimmage by Bristol. So it remains 0-0 here, and we expect that will run the clock at the end of the this second quarter, and that's going to mean that we will end this first half with a scoreline of Thrashers 0, Aztecs 0. And I've really enjoyed the first half. You wouldn't have expected it. We expected the Aztecs to come in and be more dominant than they were. And but the Thrashers defense, I have to take my hats off to them, Matt. They've played really, really well in this first half with those 2 interceptions. They've shut Nia Mugabe down. They've shut Adams down. And they've done a really good job keeping it really tight.
Not quite half-time yet, Carl. That
was me getting excited.
I think it was, because it seemed like the half-time entertainment was starting as well. I don't know if anybody picked up on some music there coming from somewhere. Don't quite know where that came from, but the half-time entertainment starting early, but not yet. The Aztecs have one more opportunity, and you would have thought, well, what would you have thought? Nia Mugabe's thrown 2 picks. Does he go for the air, or do they play it conservative? No, they go to the air. Nia Mugabe to the far right sideline, and it's in and out of the hands of number 83, Andrew Carr.
They've really defended his pass well, both of those linebacker and defensive back positions. They are getting pressure on Nia Mugabe as well. Not as much as Bristol are getting on the Solent quarterback, but pressure is coming.
And that, Carl, is half-time here at Test Park in Southampton Uni, where we have a well-deserved but surprising scoreline of the home Solent Thrashers 0 and the visiting Bristol Aztecs 0. You could argue, Carl, the Thrashers have undoubtedly stifled the attack of the Aztecs, but you've got to look to some of the penalties and the ill discipline and the mistakes, if you like, of the Aztecs as to why this game is still scoreless.
Yeah, you do. They've lost a little bit of concentration of the Aztecs at different times in this game, and they are a team that picks up quite a lot of penalties because they have an aggressive offensive line that wants to protect the quarterback, that will drive players back, and most of those penalties have been on holds where they have been trying to protect Nia Mugabe, who's scrambling around in the backfield.
So here we go, some highlights of the first half then. Thrashers initially, and it's that big man George Rhymes causing havoc in the backfield, and that was off a really impressive Solent drive, but that stifled that drive right there. And Rhymes continued to be an issue through the half. Then Nia Mugabe steps up, doing Nia Mugabe things, looking to pass, but pulls the ball down, using the acceleration, the balance to get close. But that was a drive that was hampered by Aztec penalties, Carl.
It sure was, and we'll bring you a mix of defensive and offensive talent here on this game. It's Nia Mugabe again. This time he does have time, but look at the athletic as he ducks under this first tackle there. How he missed that one, I don't know, and then ducks under the arms of number 46, finds the edge, and this eventually was a penalty, but we just want to show you how athletic and beautiful it is to watch the Houdini-like elements of Ivan Nia Mugabe.
And like you say, those penalties, the real Achilles heel for the Aztecs in this first half. And this was the first turnover of the afternoon. De Ruyter came on trying to make something happen. In fact, it wasn't. It was the open field tackle. They'd got the coverage that they wanted. They managed to get that man wide open, but number 23, Craig, for the Aztecs, read the play really well, left his own man. And then here was the interception, a looping pass to the sideline, and Horton manages to climb the ladder and pick that first one. First turnover of the afternoon goes the way of the Aztecs.
And we thought at that point that maybe the momentum was switching to Bristol. Maybe there was a chance now that they could punch something in. But they really didn't manage to capitalise on that, and it meant that Solent could have another go with the football. But this was a great play by Billy Elliott, the bat down, and you can see that whenever Solent got an opportunity to make a play, it was either the defensive line batting it down or quick pursuit from those defensive backs. Both of these defences playing really well.
And you wondered at what point would the Thrashers sort of cave in. But they didn't. They stuck to their task. Here was a near interception. But Adams makes a very good reception and pick up for a first down. And then just when you thought this might be the way and the Aztecs would be looking to try and put points on the board, an unbelievable interception in the end zone by Batatambe Tanye.
And this was Nia Mugabe just trying to make something happen towards the dying seconds of that first half. You can see the hole there, but this one is going to come back on a penalty as well. We didn't quite know what the signal was for the penalties, did we? But Nia Mugabe's been trying to make something happen either with his feet or with his arm the whole way through. But this solid defence, I've been really impressed with him.
Mampaka then showing his agility, his strength, breaking through one tackle. Big, powerful quads on that running back. And you thought maybe this was the time again then. Surely it's going to click for the Aztecs. But no, Mia Mugabe looking for pay dirt. Only finds a black jersey. And the second Nia Mugabe interception, the second Aztec turnover, kind of put pay to any opportunity for them to score. And then Greenfield on, using his own legs, doing his best impression of Nia Mugabe. Makes a big gain on what was the final play of the drive for the Thrashers. They then attempted a last-minute field goal to see if they could break that deadlock. Unfortunately, that was unsuccessful, which gives us our current scoreline of the Thrashers 0 and the Aztecs 0. And what has been an entertaining first half, to say it's a 0-0, Cole.
It has been. I've really enjoyed it. You know, I love these defensive battles, 0-0, and look forward to that second half. Hopefully it'll be as close. And it's great that it's such a close game, because one score could blow this thing wide open.
So we're going to go and get some refreshments ourselves. We'll be back in around about 5 minutes to discuss that first half. A few more bits and bobs from the Brit Bowl world, and then the second half of this Premiership South clash. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Test Park here at Southampton University, where if you've only just joined us, we're covering this Premiership South matchup this afternoon between the home SOLENT Thrashers and the visiting Bristol Aztecs. And do not adjust your sets, it is 0-0 at half-time. And Carl Walkinshaw, what do we read into the reasoning behind that scoreline?
Really tough play by the SOLENT Thrashers defence. Penalties and mistakes by the Bristol Aztecs offence, and some great defence as well from the Bristol Aztecs. You feel like the Aztecs offence really hasn't managed to take advantage of the opportunities that they've had on the field. That first pick, good field position, not able to punch it in, missed a field goal on another possession. So they're struggling to get into the end zone, and the Thrashers have been really good, putting Niamagabo under pressure, containing him on the run, making sure those defensive backs are not letting anything get behind them. And so you end up with a 0-0 scoreline, two great defences that are playing really well at the moment.
You guys have been getting in touch using our hashtag this afternoon, Thrashers versus Aztecs. It's great to see so many of you out there, just a couple since the half. Apparently, number 82 for the Thrashers, and we'll give him a shout out, Paul Brady, is the oldest player in Premiership football, so we're told by Wideout on the social media. So if that is the truth, then all kudos to that gentleman, Mr. Paul Brady.
Well, we don't know how old he is, and if you are older, then get in touch. You too can make a claim to be the oldest player in the Prem.
There may be a link between the NFL and the Prem. Paul Brady, Tom Brady.
Well,
hey,
we'll investigate that one
we'll
further, Matt.
And also, one of my former players has been in touch from the Nottingham Caesar Juniors back in the day, Connor Crofts. He says, Matt Walker, the two-system QB, we mentioned about the two-system QB that the Thrashers are running this afternoon. I asked Carl whether or not it can be a detriment with not one quarterback, not getting into the rhythm. Two QB system worked well for us back in 2013. Joe Garton and Francis killed it. Well, I don't know if you remember Joe Garton, but I'm not sure he killed it. He killed himself a few times, but yeah, we probably brought Francis on because Joe was half dead. But do get in touch. No disrespect, Joe Garton. You're a legend. I love you. It's all good. Do get in touch with us wherever you're watching, who you're supporting here, the Thrashers, the Aztecs. Remember, first time out, the Bristol Aztecs steamrolled the SOLENT Thrashers really by a score of 43-13, but that was back in May, and obviously those Thrashers have gone away, done their homework, got a winning record, sitting third position in the Premiership South at the minute, and the second half is underway. And the ball is kicked deep, and you can see the wind hasn't subsided too much down here in Southampton, and as a result that ball sails through the end zone, and the Aztecs will gain possession of the football to begin with from their own 20-yard line.
So effectively it's a brand new game, half an hour to see whether these Bristol Aztecs offence can get something going. They've managed to move the ball well at different times in the game. They've had some good running from their quarterback, Abel Mampaka, and Niamagabo obviously always a threat, and they've also had some catches from Kevin Adams, but they've not been able to sustain that beyond and into the Thrashers half and get into the end zone. So that's really what they need as they start this campaign.
Just before the Aztecs come out, we are going to talk a little bit later about the Great Britain women's team that are heading out to Finland for the European Championships, sorry, the World Championships, my mistake, towards the end of this week. So we'll talk about them and some of the stuff that came out of the coaches convention earlier in the week as Mampaka gets the first carry of the second half and he's busted it loose. He's picked up close to 20 yards and a first down, but he's slow to get up.
Just got caught on his ankle on the end of that play, but he is going to get to his feet and walk slowly to the sideline. Watch this burst of speed. It's a counter play, pulling guard, nice block. Mampaka follows his block as well, and he's up second, third level, and they have to rally to get him down. That's a nice, hard-hitting trap run on the first play of the game.
Possibly the longest run from scrimmage for Mampaka this afternoon, and they try a similar play on the next first down. Positive again, but not quite as successful, with number 87 that time, Denzel Harmit on the carry, but still positive, keeping with that no-huddle offense, trying to keep the Thrashers on their toes, as they have done for the entire first half. Yes, Joe Rooney, the score is correct. It is 0-0. Do not adjust your sets. Man in motion gets that on the jet sweep this time, number 83. And he manages to turn the corner and falls close to what will be a first down. Andrew Carr on the carry, and this the official this side signals first down immediately, and the chains march on.
So they've come out in that second half clearly with an intention to establish that running game, firstly between the tackles on the counter traps, and now with the end around to their wideouts. They want to stamp their dominance safely in this first series.
First down again then. Nice little jinking run. Still on his feet. Another first down for the Aztecs. And they are now rolling. And this power package still from the spread formation. But number 29 brings himself out of the game. That's Glenn Trafford-Smith with the carry.
Shows really good feet on this. You can see just it's a run option, this one. Niamagagbo gives the ball between the tackles, and good quick feet for a big man who's difficult to bring down. Takes 3 defenders to get him down, but only after he's picked up 15 and another first down. And you'll notice as well, less holding penalties, less flanks coming in this first series. Discipline a little bit tighter for these Aztecs.
Those people paying attention to what I'm saying will know that that wasn't Trafford-Smith. That was actually Sean Vaughan, fullback. And Niamagagbo, well, it's a fumble, but it bounces straight back to him. Very fortunate is Harmit that time. And he's staying down as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tricky one. Niamagagbo just holding on to the ball a little bit longer that time. When you run that run option, that mesh point is often a little bit vulnerable because Niamagagbo is taking his time to get the read from that defensive end as to whether to give or to keep the ball himself. And in the end, Harmit gets punished as a result of it.
Yeah, well, so right then, Kyle, let's take this opportunity while we've got the medic on the field. This Great Britain World Tournament for the women. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's coming up very, very soon. It starts on the July 28th, and the team have been selected. GB going out to represent the women of this American football community, and they'll be playing against Mexico, USA, Canada, Finland and Sweden in the Worlds. USA are currently the champs, and last time in the previous Worlds, which was 5 years ago now, obviously delays because of COVID, etc., the GB women's team came fourth in that event, but they've had a really good campaign, and it'll be exciting to see whether they can improve on that ranking this time round.
Led by Phoebe Schechter, once again the heartbeat of that team, as she is so much in women's American football globally at the moment, and that's a big play. And Niamagagbo has nowhere to go, and up bounces Rowan Milner, who registers the first sack of the afternoon for the Thrashers.
They needed that, did the Thrashers, because the Aztecs were really getting dominant with that running game. But there was a couple of, Niamagagbo, he's such a great talent, but a couple of times he lets himself down just holding on to the ball too long, not getting quick enough reads. And that was an example there of just not getting a quick enough read and finding himself in no man's land where he can get sacked.
So fourth down. Punt team out. Another little kick for the corner. Nice high hanging kick this time. And the ball is fielded by the Aztecs. And it remains 0-0. The Thrashers doing their job once again. Yeah, Carl, any more on that Great Britain World Championship?
Yeah, I mean, the head coach has changed since the last World Championship. It's Chris Stone now, an ex-NTU player who's such an intelligent guy, a great coach, and he's heading up that campaign as they go in to take on those teams. It's in Finland this year, and Finland are obviously the European holders of the championship at the moment, so they'll be tough to beat. But it's always going to be USA, Mexico and Canada who are going to be the tough teams for our GB girls to really get their teeth into. But I know that confidence is really high. There's a great article on the BAFA website if you want to read more of the stories that are coming out of that camp. And we'll certainly be rooting for them. Matt, we got a chance to commentate on the Europeans, didn't we? But not this time, so we'll be watching on and keen to see our girls do well. Absolutely.
First down then, back to action here in Southampton. First down for the Thrashers as a handoff to the left-hand side. Picks up 2 yards, 3 maybe. Let's call it 2nd and 8 as the Thrashers mount their latest attempt to break this 0-0 deadlock.
Still poised, really on tenterhooks, isn't it, this game? Very tense, just because of that 0-0 score, that you just feel like one score could win it, obviously, for either one of these teams. Is so tight, but both defenses making plays when they need to.
So second down. Greenfield, the starting quarterback at the start of this second half, man in motion. Defensive line shifts accordingly. The linebackers try and also populate the gaps that motion could create. And Billy Elliott, amongst others, ensure that there is no positive ground gain for the Thrashers on that down.
Thrashers still trying to establish that running game, or at least keep that ball with their own offense and try and march down the field, but Bristol have been really stout against that interior run. There hasn't been a lot of joy there.
So that will bring up third down. Thrashers. 2 men in the backfield. In fact, that heavy wishbone backfield again. Quick pass out, little receiver bubble screen. Completes the pass, but another great open field tackle by Tapia Craig, number 23, which will halt the latest Thrashers offensive drive.
Been really impressed by Craig a couple of times, just so quick in that corner. They're playing it, he's kind of got his eyes inside, and as that ball comes towards him, he's having a good look at that second receiver, and if that second receiver does receive the ball, he's quick to get off the block of that number 1 receiver and in for the tackle. So playing that edge corner role really well.
Yeah, reads very well, not only his own responsibility, but as you said, keeps his eyes inside and leaves his own assignment as and when he needs to, and has not missed the tackle as of yet, as I recall. So rush from this time from the edge, might have been tipped, but it takes a Thrashers bounce and continues rolling inside the 25 down to about the 21-yard line. And Aztecs will take over once again, but a good change of field position as far as the Thrashers are concerned.
Yeah, they've done well on these punts. They're often under pressure, the punter, but he's done well as number 41. I think it's number 41. We'll check the number for you.
It is. It's Louis Mokes, 41.
Plays linebacker as well. You'll see it again under pressure, but does well enough with the kick. And it may have been tipped, you were right, Matt, but still enough power behind that kick to get the Thrasher bounce. And Kevin Adams can't do anything to return that one, as the Thrasher coverage is right there.
And obviously still the wind blowing from left to right as you look at it on your screen here, always favouring both the kicking and the passing game for the team travelling in that direction. But Nia Magabo has to fight against it in this third quarter and hands the ball off once again on first down, where the back will pick up 4 and get this latest series underway. Number 21 this time is Mahajan.
Looks like the Thrashers' defense have woken up a bit after that first series, tighter on those runs initially.
Big hole on second down, and Mahajan breaks one and out up to the 35. Thrashers concede a big play, and here it is.
Yeah, just as I say, they've woken up. They bust another one. This is a straight inside zone play, no traps, no blocking, man on man, and that Bristol Aztecs just shoving people off the line.
And similar again, Sean Vaughan on the carry, picking up another first down, rumbling forward. Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, close to midfield.
Thrashers' defense needs to tighten up. They did well in the first half against this running game of the Aztecs, and whilst there were some plays that got a few yards, they did generally very well in shutting down the running attack, and they need to find that form that they had in the first half.
Vaughan slow to get up, still down on his haunches there at midfield. It looks like there's going to be a flag. Yeah, I can see it. The flag is there, just where our referee for this afternoon stoops to pick that one back up.
So this is what plagued the Aztecs in the first half, isn't it? All these holding penalties, and it looks like it's going to be a similar result here as they get marched back, and that's really what saved the Thrashers on those first couple of series that the Aztecs have. And again, after those 2 big runs up the middle, they're going to be pulled back and be pulled all the way back to a 1st and 20.
The officiating crew really earned their money this afternoon. Back judge Steve Curry, line judge Ollie Maskell, headlines judge Roger Brown, umpire Kieran Smith, led by referee Dave Knight. Aztecs again come back, and it's Mampaka that's back on the field. And it's not, in fact, it's number 41, new back in again, Limar Virgo. And Limar Virgo now with the weight of the Aztecs running game on his shoulders for the time being. Second and a dozen. Virgo this time makes the reception out of the backfield, steps out of one tackle, misses a second tackle and a third tackle. Takes 4 defenders to bring him down. And Virgo's holding his head while he's on the deck.
It was a nice quick hitting screen pass to the running back. Goes immediately out to his left-hand side and Ian Mugabe hits him. Cormac Mead does a good job here, does the linebacker 56 to slow him down, and then the Thrashers rally to the ball and Mead also jumps on top just to make sure the tackle's been made. So those Thrashers rallying to the ball well on that one.
Third down, Ian Mugabe looks to his right, fires a strike, but it's low. And because of the penalty, that was 3rd and 20, so it'll now be 4th and 20, and the Thrashers will get the football back again. 0-0 here in Southampton.
Well, that flag saved them, and then they've rallied on defence. They found the form that they had in the first half, and really frustrating the Aztecs offence now is this good, strong Thrashers defence.
You do look, actually, Con, wonder where the points are coming from in this one at the moment. It's, you know, we're just at the start of the 3rd quarter. Both teams had a possession. But the defense is playing so stoutly, so intelligently. Aztecs killing themselves with those flags, as they call the first time out of this second half. It's hard to kind of think where we may well get points from.
Yeah, both defenses doing the fundamentals really well, tackling well, you know, stopping those inside runs, making sure that they're not letting anything end zone side in terms of their defensive back play. And so when you've got 2 good defenses like this, it is tough to break them down. You have to give the edge to Bristol. They're still making the more yards. They've still got more options on offense. They've still got deeper threats with Kevin Adams. But Thrashers' defense have been equal to it so far.
Indeed they have, as the punt is up and it's held up in the wind. You can see the way that punt, the angle increased as it just dropped inside the 50, and the Thrashers will take over already inside Aztecs territory. Let's bring you some updates from around the country. The Doncaster Mustangs trailing the Lincolnshire Bombers 28-7 at half time. Cheetahs 7-0 ahead of the 13-0 ahead of the Dreadnoughts. Apologies. Vikings 6-0 up on the Wolverines. Still more Bobcats leading the Saints 7-0 at the half. Bring you more as we get those fed into us. Keep in touch here with us, remember. Hashtag Thrashers versus Aztecs. We'll try and read out the most entertaining messages that we get as this second half continues. First down, Greenfield hands the ball off, and there's a little bit of a gap there. Good pickup on first down. It's going to be 7 yards, 2nd and 3 upcoming.
They ran that play in the first half, didn't they? With just that extra receiver coming in, just tapping the quarterback, just to let him know that he's there. So you'll see the motion here as it kind of scuttles across, taps the quarterback, I'm here now, hand the ball, and they just follow those 2 big blockers through the hole. And it's effective that time, more effective than it was the first time they won it. It's George Rhymes that has to hold on desperately to that leg, but it's going to bring up a 2nd and short.
Well, anytime you pick up 7 yards on first down, it does significantly open your opportunities and your options on the next couple, and he goes up top for almost like a free play opportunity, but that's way out of the reach of any of his receivers downfield. So now on 3rd down, you'd expect them to come back to the ground, unless they're going to try and hit one of those little arrow plays again. They've managed to complete those, but as you mentioned earlier, Craig has been equal to those on the outside.
Yes, and it was Craig there in that coverage, you know, letting nothing get behind him. So quarterback, no option but to just throw that deep and go to this 3rd down situation.
I suppose all you can guarantee really here from the Thrashers is the fact that if they do end up in 4th down territory again, they're going to pin the Aztecs back and hope that their defense can capitalise. Man shifting across again. Here's that tap again, and you'd think it was the same play that got them 7 yards on first down, but this time the linebacker, defensive lineman rather, is Indrisa Fofana, number 66, who wraps him up before he can gain any yardage. It's going to be 4th down and 4.
Yeah, it's Gavin Jordan as well coming in on that. You'll see he's exactly the same play, and they got good result last time, but this time defensive lineman number 66, and it was actually Gavin Jordan that managed to skip his own block and get inside to really wrap up that runner 36 and bring him to the ground. So they're going to go for him out on 4th, and this could be a turning point in this game.
Well, why not? Their defense, they're obviously trust enough. Looks like a similar play to the other side, maybe. Coming from the pistol, though, this time Greenfield's having to run for his life. He's going to look to tuck it, but he's wrapped up and slung around to the ground for a loss of 4. And that Aztec defense stands firm once again.
Gavin Jordan making back-to-back plays. Well played, Gavin. That was the first play he made, was against that run on the 3rd down, and then on 4th down, you'll see here he's going to pursue from his linebacker position. He's just shadowing that quarterback, and he does a really good job of sacking him for no gain. You'll see it here. Motion from number 89 then, and it's going to be a designed quarterback keep to that left-hand side. Looks, pulls, goes to his left. Now watch the pursuit of Gavin Jordan. Top of your screen, linebacker. Look at that. Can't do it better than that. Jordan with the sack on 4th down.
Garbo goes to the air. Oh, little hook and ladder. I love a hook and ladder call. You know I do. And Adams is the recipient of the hook and ladders it off to number 83, who remains on his feet, reverses field. He tries to make and stutter a man who makes a great tackle. But what an explosive play on 1st down. Andrew Carr. Oh, you can't beat a hook and ladder call.
Don't talk to me about hook and ladders. It's a fantastic play. Well, I knew Bristol needed something to spark this offense, and that's what it's given them.
We'll try and bring you a replay of that when we get an opportunity, but this opportunity might be now, but Neil Mugabe knows he's got a free play, and it looks like the reception is made, or was the play called dead? Oh, it looks like there was encroachment by the defense, and as a result, the play was called dead before Neil Mugabe had chance to get the football in his hands, and it is encroachment against the defense. But what a shame.
Well, why wouldn't you let them play on that encroachment? I guess there was some sort of contact. It wasn't just you know, stepping across into that neutral zone. There was actually some sort of contact which blew the play dead. But Neil Mugabe wanted his touchdown, and he's edging a little bit closer with that.
Well, as I mentioned earlier on, I'm not sure where the points might be coming from. They might be coming from this drive, because it is 1st down. It's first. They've still got an opportunity to get a 1st down before scoring, so it's 1st and 5 after the encroachment penalty. And now the play is blown dead before it started once again. Just trying to see from Dave Griffiths what the issue may be here. I think it's a substitution penalty. So they got the 5 yards for the encroachment, and they take the 5 yards away for the substitute. Here's that hook and ladder call.
Well, it was a really well designed play. Aztecs needed a spark, so they get the ball to trust the old number 10, who then flips it out to number 83, who then does a really nice job of cutting back inside against the grain. Cuts once there, once again. And now he's off to the races, and we need to chase him down if you're a Thrasher, and they managed to get him down, but only after a gain of about 40 yards. And so Andrew Carr making the difference in that hook and ladder play. That's what they needed. They needed a spark.
But the touchdown saving tackle there was by Batatambe Tanyi, the man who intercepted the first Nyamagobo pass in the 1st half in the end zone, if you were with us. But wow, what a play. Had a message in from Lawrence Grudgeon. See if we can get that up on the screen. Good luck to all the under-16 teams competing for the Youth Brit Bowl 17 in Cambridge next Saturday. We'll definitely see more points in those games, I'm sure we will. Sorry, Carl, you got something for us? Nope, you got nothing for us. Okay, then. You just sit there shaking your head. That's all good. So, yes, there was some discussion going on as to that flag, because they've marched much further back than just 5 yards for an illegal substitution penalty.
Looks like we might get an ejection here, Matt.
All very interesting. Let's go to social media. Ducati Pete. Hook and ladder. Spirit of the 81 Dolphins. Well, I don't know. Hook and ladder. Spirit of...
Don't say it. Don't say it. Every time there's a hook and ladder, you've got to remind me, haven't you?
For those
Just
out there...
put it out of your memory.
You can't. It was such an impressive play. And I remember the commentator called it amazingly on that particular day. Nottingham Trent University against the University of Nottingham varsity game a few years back. And Nottingham Trent University were holding their own, doing ever so well under the expert defensive coordinator of Carl Walkinshaw. But then the University of Nottingham staff drew up an absolutely exquisite hook and ladder rather than hook and bladder.
No, I'm happy with hook and bladder.
Oh dear, and yeah, it lit up Nottingham Rugby Club that night. I wonder if our producer could find a clip of it anywhere on and put it on for a little bit later, just for old time's sake.
I very much doubt it. It was actually they had their scholarship athletes out against our third string DBs, so it looked even more spectacular.
Oh, that's your excuse. That's your reasoning, is it? That's what you're
No,
going
that's
with.
just a fact.
That's just a fact. But no, some great rivalries over the year, not just at the Nottingham varsity, but obviously varsities up and down the country. Fantastic games where anything can happen regardless of the tier of football that each of those universities are playing at the time. So here we go then, back down with this one. Niamagabo steps. He's got a man, and it's that man again. His favourite receiver on the afternoon, Kevin Adams. Very stop-start though, and it looks like this one might be coming back as well, the way that...
Scrappy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just no momentum able to be got by these Aztecs. There's a flag just at that 40-yard line you can see on the screen at the top of your screen. And we'll see what that one is. But flags have really plagued this Bristol team. And they plagued UWE in the final, didn't they, against UON? You remember all those flags that came out? You just wonder about... You know, the two times that we've seen these Bristol teams play, flags have played a really big part, and I don't know whether that's... I don't know what to say about that. You can make all kinds of, you know, guesses and speculations about why that might be. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it certainly troubled them today. Again,
at that final, refs were criticised in some way for not letting the game flow and for the amount of flags that were thrown. But at the same time, like this afternoon, if there are penalties, you know, you've got it. That's what those refs are there for. Here we go anyway. First down and a plane ride as Niamagabo puts it into the air, dials up the airmail, but it cannot deliver. Looking for number 12, Sean Cook on first down.
It's great coverage. It's Alex Cooksley in the coverage again, and you know, this is what Solent have done all day long. They've really been tight on the coverages. They've tackled well when they need to. They've, you know, they've shut down when they get close to their own red zone, and between the 20s when they get Bristol into their half. They've played good defense.
Niamagabo back to pass again, comes out to his left, in and out of the hands of Adams, and we've seen him accurate on the majority of his throws, particularly on those short medium distance, but that time just out of the reach. And a lot of people, you know, if you don't know football that well, you kind of think, oh, aiming to pick up 5 yards, but actually a pass from Niamagabo to the sideline there, even though only gaining 5 yards downfield, can sometimes be in the air for 20, 25 yards. So accuracy really important on those short outs. Low snap, and Niamagabo changing from quarterback to punter, and it takes an Aztec bounce, and then is picked up at the last minute by number 34 for the Thrashers. Dan DeLucia tries to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, his safety, the ball bounced in front of him. He said, well, it's my chance for glory. Dives on it, tries to make something out of it. But at least, you know, with Niamagabo punting, you know, that's a really alert play by the Thrashers, just to make sure that they stay in this one and don't make any silly mistakes, because that's what the Aztecs are trying to do now, trying to catch them off balance. Hook and ladders, Niamagabo's back there punting, trying to find any kind of spark to get closer to this end zone, and Thrashers have been equal to everything so far.
0-0. Battle between second and third in the Premiership South. Test Park, Southampton Uni. First down as De Ruyter comes back in, a quarterback for the Thrashers. Back to that spread formation. Ball handed off. Left side of the field. Tackled for a loss on first down.
What a great defensive play that was. 26 just knifing through the line. I think it was 46, sorry, Ryan Davis knifing through from that defensive line position. You'll see here, top of your screen, knives through and just dumps him for a loss. And that's what you played. It's great downhill tackling. If you see the hole open up, you know it's the same hole that the running back's going for. If you can hit that hole at speed, get him in the backfield. What a beautiful play.
Second and long, Thrashers. De Ruyter drops back, looks left, over the top. Oh, it's high again. Intended receiver that time was Sean Dial. But if like Carl, you're a fan of defensive slugfests, then you probably got your popcorn and beer, soft drink, whatever is your choice.
You know what it might come down to? It might come down to a defensive score or a mistake by one of these offenses or a special teams block. Often that's what these games come down to lift it up, to get those scores on the board. If the offenses can't do it, then defenses need to step up. And defensive coaches will be saying that. It's up to you now. Offense is struggling. What can we do?
Third down. De Ruyter back to pass. He's in trouble. He puts the ball up, and that one could. Oh, and it was tantalisingly hanging in the air there. For a minute, you thought that Alex Ampleford might have been able to just let that one drop into his arms and waltz back in for 6 for that defensive score you just mentioned. But the pressure coming again on that Thrashers quarterback from the outside of the defensive line.
Now, fourth down. George Rhymes, you can see him there, number 6, has had some success coming off that left-hand edge. This is a good position for a punt block, and we'll see whether they can get something going here. They're going to overload that left-hand side.
High hanging kick, does get it away, and that wind is going to carry it. And it's a lovely bounce once again for the Thrashers. The special teams unit, particularly the punting unit for the Thrashers, when they've been working with the wind, have got them out of some sticky situations, and they've downed that on the 5-yard line of the Aztecs, and that is huge.
When your offense is struggling, you've got to make plays with your special teams and with your defense. And Reese McLawrence does a nice job, an ex-Warrior player and now plays for Solent, does a nice job just making sure that Adam Wells doesn't have a chance to pick, sorry, Kevin Adams doesn't have a chance to pick up that ball. Just shields his body to make sure that ball gets the biggest bounce that it can. Now, can the Thrashers defense do something here to put Nyamagabo under some pressure, or one of these running backs in the backfield, you know, to try and create either decent field position or a chance at a safety? We're backed up under your own post like this. 0-0 game. Aztecs' nerves will be high at this point.
Omega Phoenix has just messaged him, what a punt, and I was thinking exactly the same thing. Got to give a shout out to Louis Mokes, punter. There it is, look, Louis Mokes, who's had a day and a half, and if you're looking for MVPs so far in black jerseys, Louis Mokes has got to be there or thereabouts. The ball handed off on first down, and it's that similar play again, but it's read very well by a batch of Thrashers. Second down.
Yeah, they did a good job bottling them up, so they keep the pressure on the Aztecs. All about pressure for your defense, closing down the space, making sure the offense can't get out from behind there, from underneath their own goalposts.
Second down, similar play to the right-hand side, and scythe down this time is Mampaka.
Nice job there from number 46, who's Rowan Milner.
Mentioned his name a couple of times this afternoon.
So third down now, pressure play. What will Solent send? Will they stay just with 4-man pressure, or will they bring more?
Near Mugabe, hands off once again, just trying to get some breathing room. And that's a good tackle again. 56 and 75. 56 is Cormac Mead, along with
fourth
Scott
down
Barnes.
and staying on the field here, Matt. Interesting.
No huddle, fourth down. Maybe looking to see. We've seen him punt before, though, Cole. We've seen Nyamagabo kick that football before, and now they do make adjustments. Nyamagabo signaling to Dave Knight. his displeasure about something.
Just trying to pull them off sides, weren't they? It's only 4th and short, so they were trying to get them offside, get an encroachment, and maybe get the 5-yard penalty they need to get that first down. But Solent nice and disciplined on that. Don't give any ground up. So it looks like they are going to bring out the punt unit.
Yeah, the Thrashers have been guilty of a couple of encroachment penalties this afternoon. So wise from the Aztec coaching staff to try and see if they can go to the honeypot once again. Timeout called by the Aztecs, and I believe that's the second timeout of the half, so only one remaining, and we're still in the 3rd quarter. That'll be disappointing. I think that's what Niamagabo was probably complaining about a little bit. But here we go. Punter back, pressure coming up the middle and almost blocked. And to the point whereby the kick is sliced badly, and the Thrashers, after that incredible punt by Louis Mokes a few moments ago, find themselves in really promising field position as we march towards the end of this 3rd period.
Well, they put Reece McLawrence out there on the right-hand side. Watching bottom of your screen, he's a big, tall, rangy wide receiver. Comes back inside and gets his arms up, and that means that the punter has to pull the ball. And it means that the punter can't fully extend his leg, and it's a short punt, good field position from Solent. So they hold tough on defense, make a nice play on special teams. They're in that they have an opportunity now to make their own impact and get something on the board.
It's windy. It's definitely windy, but that's going to favour the quarterback in black. Although they come with a I formation for the first time this afternoon.
Just a shout to Maria McLawrence, who says, well done, Reece McLawrence. Love Auntie M and Alan.
Love it when we know that family members are watching and supporting their own out here on the gridiron. First down, inside handoff to the fullback, and then faked the option to the halfback. So apologies for that outage, technical issue down here in Southampton, but we are back now. As you can see, you haven't missed any action as far as the scoreboard is concerned. It's still been that body blow after body blow after body blow, but we are in the fourth quarter now. Still 0-0. Aztecs with the football. Thrashers still reeling from that big punt as Niamagabo drops back to pass, looks to his left, pulls the ball down and now takes off to his left, then decides to throw and hits Adams, and Adams is out past midfield for a big play for the Aztecs. First down.
So difficult to defend Niamagabo scrambling in the backfield. If you're a defensive back trying to stay on a receiver as good as Kevin Adams, and that scramble technique, they've just been practicing that at Bristol, and Niamagabo runs around so much in that backfield. The defender just hasn't got a chance. Kevin Adams manages to break free finally, and first down now and into Solent territory after this back and forth that you didn't miss much while we were away. Defenses still continue to dominate, but that was a breakthrough play by Niamagabo, and we'll just see whether that constant threat from Niamagabo is going to make the difference in this one in the end.
Could that be the spark that the Aztecs were after? Motion man is Adams. Niamagabo rolls to his right, then steps up and then reverses field back to his left, and he's got acres of grass in front of him. He's down inside the 30, and another great open field tackle, because that was one tackle away from pay dirt.
Yeah, DB Romaro Ferreira has to come up. Ex-Bobcats player comes up to make the tackle on Niamagabo, and Niamagabo is really putting it on his shoulders now, making plays in the backfield, scrambling around to get Adams open. You'll see here now motion to the bottom of your screen, which acts as a distraction, and Niamagabo is going to go back to the top of your screen, looks for something, nothing there, and then he will head off to the races, cutting back against the defensive pursuit. And it's Ferreira that has to come in and make a nice open field tackle in the end to bring Niamagabo down. It
looked like he had Sean Cook in the flats there if Niamagabo did want to unload. He was open there with about a 2 or 3 yard gain, but I think Niamagabo chose the right option there, took the ball and backed himself with a fantastic result. And all of a sudden, the tables are turned again, and the Thrashers defense looks to hold as we have a water break here.
You get that water on because it's a muggy day here, and there is a breeze which cools the players down, but it's been very hot over the last week or so, and these players also have to wear all the kit, about 15 pounds worth of kit, and they have to wear helmets and shoulder pads, and so getting water on whenever you can, really important part of this, keeping the athletes fresh.
There was also an injured Solent player, just slow to get up, just back on midfield as well, which gave them that opportunity too, but we're good to go again, and it's first down, Niamagabo and Solent, and it's the option, and Niamagabo waltzes into the 5 yard line, realises he's 5 yards short, and then trundles down, but there are 1 flag, 2 flags. That's going to be interesting. Or are they going to suggest that this is something like taunting, unsportsmanlike conduct, as he started high stepping at the 5? I genuinely, from where I am, thought that it was just an error. Niamagabo thought he was in the end zone, and then realised he wasn't.
He does have those little errors in concentration, Niamagabo, from time to time, and he gets saved through his athletic ability. He's now trying to say to his coaches, I didn't do anything. We'll have to see. Do you get a penalty for a hop, skip, and a jump?
Well, here's the signal from our referee, who's giggling himself. Let's see. We won't hear him today, obviously, but it's unsportsmanlike conduct, I think. Yep, unsportsmanlike conduct it is. But if you saw the replay, I genuinely think that was an error on Niamagabo's part rather than an intentional showboat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely looked like an error from here, but the referees are down on the field. They can hear whether there's any whether he actually said anything as he went through the motions of trying to get in the end zone. But again, Bristol frustrated. They actually get into the end zone this time, and it's pulled back again.
Be nice to see if we could get a replay on that at all, just to see what our thoughts were. We'll see if we can bring you that later or not, but it definitely did look like Nia Magabo thought he was in the end zone when he crossed the 5, and then had a bit of a realization that he wasn't, and he's trying the same play again, and that one's read very well. Outside contain working exceptionally well that time on the edge.
Well, that's how you play the run option. Number 2, who is Phil Barnett rather, played that really well from his defensive line position, just froze the quarterback and then sacked him. But there's a penalty, unsportsmanlike, and that's going to go against Bristol again.
Wow.
And another unsportsmanlike penalty is going to take them back another 15 yards.
Goodness me. JD's just messaged in, sad state of affairs. Sad state of affairs in terms of Bristol or in terms of refereeing. We'll leave that up to you to decide. But
how many yards of penalties now for Bristol? It must be well over 100 yards.
Easily, I would have thought. Easily. And the impact it's had on this game. I mean, realistically, from a playoff point of view, you know, a 0-0 doesn't do the Thrashers any good. A win really doesn't do them any good in terms of the point differential. They'd be level at 6, and well, in fact, Bristol would be 6-3, and the Thrashers would be 6-4 as Nia Magabo drops back to pass. Ball is up, and it's almost intercepted, and two Thrashers collide with each other.
Oh, and that's painful. You can see that when you don't get a call out, the ball came in very quick, and the Thrashers had great coverage, but they collide with each other, and there's still a Thrashers players down. I think it's number 36 who's down from that collision with his teammate.
But yeah, as we were saying, even if the Thrashers do win here today, Bristol will hold a half-game lead on them. It's 39. It's the man we've mentioned a couple of times, Batatembi Tanye, who was looking for his second pick of the afternoon and then just got steamrolled by his teammate Dan DeLucia. Yeah, a win here for Solent would put them at 6-4 to drop the Aztecs to 6-3. So the Aztecs would stay a half a game ahead in the division, and the point differential anyways massively in the Aztecs' favour.
Apologies to Kyle Barrett, who's tweeted in correcting me on my pronunciation. It wasn't Phil Barnett on that great end around, that great run option play. It was Philip Barrett, quite right, number 2, made a great play on that, so thanks for the correction.
And also some comments coming in about the referees and criticising referees, but also, like you say, we've seen a lot of situations this season where games have had to be called off because of the lack of refereeing. And as Ducati Pete has just put up there, it's not an easy sport to be an official in. You know, sometimes, like we mentioned about the game we did earlier, the Bucks final, if there are flags that have to be thrown, then they have to be thrown. And you know, it's a very difficult situation because BAFA as an organisation do a great job, and obviously we need a number of officials at each game, and it's hard to spot everything that's going on. It's sometimes these are split-second calls that referees have to make, and like all human beings, everybody gets things wrong, but not everybody's willing to put themselves out there to make this game run. So regardless of what you think of the officials, we thank all the crews up and down the country that take the field week in, week out to enable this sport that we love so much to be put on. And it's a punt from the Aztecs once again. And it's an exceptional coverage down in the ball inside the 2-yard line. Yes, so Carl, it's easy to be critical of referees, but like we say, the people who are criticising the refs sometimes easy to criticise when you're sat at home.
Yeah, but it's certainly impacting the Aztecs today. I mean, there's been a lot of penalties against this Aztecs team, and whatever the reason for that, it's certainly negated at least one touchdown. and it's impacted their ability to drive down the field there. So there will be conversations had within the Bristol Aztecs around the impact that that's had, and we will have to see whether the Aztecs can recover from that. And if the Thrashers steal this game with a late field goal or a late score, you wonder then how big these flags become even a bigger issue for the Aztec team.
And there are messages continuing to come in about that particular flag on the touchdown play, about the unsportsmanlike conduct. Number of people have said about that flag doesn't have to be thrown. That's opinion based, and again, an official could get together and the crew get together and go, look, hang on a minute, we've thrown that. It did look like unsportsmanlike, but from what we've seen, there's 5 of us out here. It's a case of, can we pick that flag up? Was that an intentional unsportsmanlike? And like you say, that's opinion based. And if that official thinks it is, then that's his opinion. But equally, it's still one of a plethora of infringements that the Aztecs have made.
Bristol very close here to the end zone of the Thrashers.
But that's a good play just to come out from under the shadow of their own goalpost with that little fullback dive. Give themselves a little bit of breathing room that time.
At the end of the day, regardless of the flags, regardless of the refs, it's going to come down to some players on the field making a play to make this one count, either for the Thrashers or the Aztecs. And at the moment, field position so critical in this one, Matt, as the punting's been so good on both sides of the field, and the Thrashers now just trying to get that field position out of the shadows of their own end zone. They're now at about the 12, so we'll see whether they can continue to progress down the field.
So here we go then with the Thrashers once again trying to get a little bit of daylight, and nothing doing there as it's snuffed out by Gavin Jordan.
He's had a great game as Gavin in terms of hitting the gap early and making sure that he can hit that runner before the runner has a chance to get any speed through that hole. So these linebackers have really played this gap defense really well.
So critical portion of the game now, as on social media the debate continues to run regarding the officiating. But it's 4th down, and the hero for Bristol has to do it one more time. Sorry, the hero for the Thrashers has to do it one more time. But you can see the effect that the wind has this afternoon. Mokes, who's been hitting 60, 70-yard punts in the other direction, can only manage a 25-yard effort on that occasion. And let's see if the Aztecs can finally break the deadlock on this possession. Great field position.
All right, Bristol. Excuses have to stop. The penalties, the refereeing, the issues with the refs, the calls that shouldn't have been called, all of that stuff now, all of the errors has to stop. You've got to get your focus in. Niamagawa's got to come in and make sure that he puts a focused drive in here. None of those little mental errors to try and get into the end zone.
Here he goes then to the air on 1st down. Beautiful catch, snagged out of the air, and he's still on his feet, and he's at the 5, and he is in. Touchdown, Bristol.
That's a great play from 81 and Niamagawa. He's only short 81, but he's made the biggest impact on this game so far. He's done
Otis Newbury call.
Yeah, Otis Newbury is what he did on that play was run a really nice quick comeback pattern and then use the angles of the defenders against them to find enough space to get into the end zone. Hasn't been hit at all today, but the first time he catches the ball, straight in for 6.
Beautiful strike, great grab, extending his arms. And it looks like the Aztecs are going to stay on the field and go for 2. And why not? Plenty of options near Mugabe. There's a full back up. There's a running back alongside him. Oh, and it's beautifully designed. Fake the snap to the quarterback. Direct snap to the fullback. No signal yet, though, but there is from our referee in the middle, who has given the arms straight up to the heavens. 8 to the Aztecs, 0 to the Thrashers.
So they do well in terms of taking advantage of that good field position. As I say, just maintaining their concentration for a couple of plays. They have the talent. This is the thing. They just haven't been able to execute on the field, but they do on that play. And here is the touchdown throw. So watch top of your screen. Just a comeback pattern right there. Beautiful catch. And now there's the 2-step. What a beautiful step. There it is again. and into the end zone, and he uses the angle of those defenders against them, gets them to commit, and then it's all him into the end zone. Otis Newbury for 6. Great job. Here's the 2-pointer as well. And that's just a really cleverly designed play. And how good was Nia Mugabu in faking that snap?
Well, not only Nia Mugabu, but Andrew Carr alongside him as well. You've got to, you know, if they've, if the quarterback's going to sell it, then you've got to make sure that everybody sells it. And Andrew Carr alongside Nia Mugabu both dove into their acting talents, and at the same time, then the fullback trundled in to add the extras. 8-0 to the Aztecs.
The question for the Thrashers now is whether they can come back, whether they can mount enough of a drive. They have some time left, and you know they've shown some sparks, but they rely very much on that running game, and Bristol have really frustrated that running game today on that defensive line, making some great plays. Their linebackers making some great plays. They have such talent with Billy Elliott, George Rhymes, and linebacker Gavin Jordan. So it's going to be tough for the Thrashers to come back, but let's see what they can do.
So here we go then. A lot of open field to run into, and makes the first man miss, and then sets himself up to be hit by Billy Elliott amongst others. And this is now crunch time for the Thrashers after staying with the Aztecs for so much of this game. They now find themselves having to find something, dig deep, dig into their bag of tricks, maybe find something they've not used before to try and light a spark for this comeback.
Yeah, we saw that hook and ladder from Bristol, didn't we? And we saw some reverses from Thrashers as well, and they need a big play now to get this drive moving and answer back quickly.
So, fourth quarter, Test Park, Southampton, Thrashers versus Aztecs, second against third. If nothing else, it's been intriguing for many different reasons. We've had a few turnovers, we've had some excellent work from the kicking team, but as somebody put on the messaging earlier on, the wind playing a massive factor from left to right as you look on your screen. And they'll now be re-kicking after what has been another penalty. So the Thrashers will get another opportunity to try and establish some good starting field position. So the kick is held because of the wind, and up it goes. Look at that fly. Straight over the heads of the returners into the back of the end zone. And we start from the 20.
Well, Reece McLawrence is about the tallest guy on the field there, and he didn't even have a chance to return it himself. So straight over his head into the end zone. Thrashers will have to do it from their 20 and drive all the way down the field if they're going to keep in contact with Bristol. It's been a really close game. Lots of people, if you're joining us late, it's been a really tough defensive battle between these two, and Bristol just did enough to get the score off some good field position with their number 181 Otis Newbury into the end zone, but that's been the only score other than the 2-pointer that we've seen today. Thrashers have played really well, especially on defense, but they're going to have to do something now with this offense, with the running game, with the talent that they've got, to try and get a score of their own. They did score twice against Bristol last time these two teams met, but now they have to do it under pressure.
So first down then, ball pitched, and it's a reverse, but it looks like he's looking to try and throw as well, and Billy Elliott misses. He sets his feet, he goes up long, and it's thrown out of bounds. So yeah, like we said about that hook and ladder from the Aztecs, the Thrashers delving into their bag of tricks themselves to try and keep the Aztecs off balance.
Yeah, so initially it looks like a reverse. The pressure comes from this defensive line. There's the pitch then to number 88, and who wants to get the ball to Steely Willis, who's down the field. But in the end, the pass just not good enough, and out of bounds for no threat.
So second down then. Second down for the Thrashers, and it's Greenfield back in leading the charge in the fourth quarter. This time ball handed off, and that defensive line as strong as ever, even though the game is in the waning minutes. But it is enough for a first down by the looks of things from our referee.
And that's what they need, Solent, just to keep the ball moving down the field. They'll be getting time checks, so they can take their time now, but the pressure will build. No sense of urgency just yet, yeah, so plenty of time on the clock as they overload the left-hand side as they're looking at it.
Greenfield then with the fake keeps the ball himself, but he's snagged in the backfield, and that from third down will bring up fourth down, and that could be the end of the Thrashers charge this afternoon, because realistically they're going to want to punt from here. They can't risk putting the ball up on 4th and 13. You wouldn't have thought with the ferocity of this Aztecs defensive unit.
That's Ryan Morton making a great play on the edge against the quarterback. They overload that left-hand side, and then the quarterback rolls back out to his right looking for some space to get the ball to one of his receivers. But Ryan Morton comes off his coverage and makes a brilliant sack. Brings up fourth down now for Solent. And they will put their punter back there. So time enough for them to get a stop and mount another drive.
Louis Mokes once again with the kick. Oh, and is that going to be called interference? Yeah, there come the flags. It looked like big number 81 didn't really make an attempt, Reese McLawrence, to do anything to help the returner. And it possibly was sold rather well by that returner, but it did look like return interference from where I was sitting.
Well, that's going to give Bristol a really nice field position again. The penalty looks like it's going to occur at the 40-yard line.
And there it is. Kick interference is the call from Dave Knight. So let's march it 5. Let's march it 10. Let's march it 15 yards further downfield. So the Aztecs will start this possession at the Thrashers 25. And you'd think now Nyamagabo is hungry for more to add to this lead.
Yep, Trickster, that is a big flag for Solent, certainly. And if Bristol can capitalise here, then it's a nail in the coffin for Thrashers.
Little delayed handoff that time. Thought there was space for a moment for Rob Ogburn. The door was shut very quickly.
Here's that play. You can see here it's that counter trap play that they've been running and had success with. But that's a really nice defensive play coming up and shutting that one down. Second down.
Second down and 10 indeed. This time Nyamagabo to the air again, steps into the pocket, fires it for his intended favourite receiver, Kevin Adams, but that one comes out a little awkwardly and ends up at Adams' boots. Incomplete, third down.
Now you don't want any mistakes if you're Aztecs. You want to keep your poise.
Going to the air again, so they do want more. He's got a man over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of both the defender and the intended receiver. To be honest, if I was Otis Newbury, I would have probably been a bit distracted as well, because this ball flies and you think that's going to be intercepted. And Dan DeLucia maybe should have pulled that one in, but when he didn't, it kind of surprised Otis.
Yeah, falls harmlessly incomplete. But again, those are the sorts of things that you don't really want to be doing as Bristol, giving the chance for the Thrashers to make a return on that play. Just a little bit greedy, trying to get more when you don't necessarily have to. But we don't know how much time's on the clock. They're going to line up, see whether they can get a safe 3 here.
So looking for more, but in a different way this time. One missed field goal earlier on. This time the kick is up, and it is good, and a nice driven kick. And with the wind, that was almost turned into a bit of a chip shot, but nevertheless adds on to 3. 11 to the Aztecs, 0 to the Thrashers.
You have to feel, given the way that this game's gone, that it will be difficult for the Thrashers to come back here. They need a quick score, but now they need 2 scores to get anywhere close. And they have to be, at least one of those needs to be a touchdown. Yeah.
Been a real sterling effort from the Thrashers, based on the fact that, like we said, the first meeting they were on the wrong end of a 43-13 result. So to hold Bristol as they have done this afternoon, regardless of whether or not you feel that Bristol have harmed themselves in the process with all the flags, but nevertheless positive staying with this big Bristol unit all afternoon. Let's see if the Thrashers can get anything on the board in the closing stages of this one.
It's been one of those days for the kickoff. The ball just keeps dropping off that tee. 31 is going to come over again. It's Dom Fadani coming over again to hold on to that ball for his kicker, Lorcan Ryans.
And the kick is up once again, and that's going to fly, but it is going to be fielded, taken well at the 5-yard line. And it looks like it's DeLucia again, and DeLucia gets out past the 30. There's a 35.
Decent return. Now the Thrashers know they need a quick score. There's no reason not to keep fighting. Nothing to lose now. 11-0. They've made a really good account of themselves. So you keep fighting till the end. You keep trying to find a way. Here's that kick return, and the ball does have a lot of air underneath it, but it is taken really well. Sets off to his right hand side, and you thought maybe could make something happen, but the coverage team does a really good job of both inside and outside pursuit. And I'll meet you at the 35, which is what they do. Let's see whether the Thrashers can get something going. They've brought in their quarterback now, who can throw the ball really well. That's Olivier de Ruyter. We've seen him go deep a couple of times. See what he can do here.
All he needs is a little bit of time from his offensive line as the Aztecs appear to take their final timeout. Yeah, so we're coming to the back end of the season. The playoffs will be shortly upon us in all forms of the game, and then on the weekend of the 3rd and 4th of September, Brit Bowl weekend will be upon us. More details of that to follow in the coming weeks. The culmination of the British season, particularly for the Premiership and for Division 1.
Those Warriors that are so dominant in this South Division, isn't it? And these two teams trying to close the gap on them. Bristol have got closer this season, but still you wouldn't bet against the Warriors at this point in the season, would you, Matt?
No, you wouldn't, and it could be argued that the Warriors have had a bit of an easier sort of regular season campaign. There's a good run on first down there. Yeah, a bit of an easier regular season campaign in the Premiership South than maybe the likes of the Titans and the Phoenix up in the north, who have had some real hefty battles, not only with themselves but with other teams in that conference as well. So just how fresh the Warriors will be heading into the playoffs compared to those Titans and Phoenix, and indeed even the likes of the Edinburgh Wolves, who we saw not so long ago. 2nd and 6, Thrashers, just 2 yards short of the 40-yard line. Right to the air. Oh, that pass just kind of holds up in the wind again. Not enough on that power-wise, and the wind just makes that one flutter back down to earth.
Yeah, you had a receiver open. It's just not able to get enough arm behind it to get it to the open receiver. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and And the Thrashers running out of chances now, running out of time.
3rd and 7. Call it a long 6. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Running back alongside, and 3rd and 7 is going to turn into 3rd and 12 after a false start by Lewis Key. This one just seemingly petering out a tad at this stage. Thrashers really giving it their all throughout the majority of this game, well, throughout the entire game.
Some scores then. We've got Chester Romans 12-0 up against the Birmingham Bulls, and Scunthorpe Alphas looks like they're going to win out 29-14 against Humber.
Here we go with 3rd and 12 then. De Ruyter scanning that defence, trying to think where those gaps might be based on these receivers' routes, and then it's handed up the middle on a little inside handoff, which will bring up 4th and 8.
They've been great all day, this defensive line and linebacker unit for Bristol. Really impressed by the play of Gavin Jordan, very much so, but also Ryan Davis, who made the tackle on that one, a defensive line.
Injured man on the play. So Carl, while we've got this little break in play, we've talked about the under-19 GB squad, we've talked about the British women off to Finland. Coaches convention. Fantastic weekend not so long ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago we took the weekend. We went off to Kiel University, did all the British American football coaches, not all of them, but the ones that attended the conference anyway, the ones that wanted to grow and learn more. And there were some great talks there. Bo Stewart gave a talk on what it's like being a female coach, and there were great talks from Matt Davis, our friend Spoonie up in Scotland, came down to give a talk on leadership in the game, and it was a great event all round.
Louis Mokes with another kick, and this time, like, look at that. The trajectory to start with looks like it's going to go miles, and that wind just holds it up, and Adams once again snaffles it before he is snaffled himself. And let's see whether or not the Aztecs want to continue the charge, as we see that Mokes punt once again. Yeah, the angle of this looks like it's going to go and go and go, and then it just stops, and the wind just says, nope, you can come straight back down right about there. Adams says, thank you very much. And the Thrashers meet him almost immediately.
Yeah, just going back to that BAFA conference, one of the interesting meetings was actually between Steve Rains and BAFA Chief Executive Pete Ackersley, which I'll come back to and give you a little bit of an update on that, as that was an interesting encounter.
First down on the little end around, little jet sweep, and he does sweep with jets, and a lovely little step, and he's still on his feet, makes a man miss spin inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. New quarterback in as well, but that's Andrew Carr with the jet sweep. Big first down, as the quarterback is Lewis Benzie, who comes in. Back to you, Carl.
Yeah, we saw Andrew Carr, his talent earlier in the run, but yeah, Steve Rains, who's the coach of Solent Thrashers, so he's the coach of this team on the field as you're watching now, came up with a series of 9 points that some different teams have signed up to back. Points in which, points really of like how BAFA could improve the way they run the league. And there were a number of teams that signed up and backed the points that Steve had put to paper, and they were things like, you know, domestic football should be prioritised over international competition. League structure and schedule should be published earlier. Things like registration of players that were Bucks players. So it was a range of different points. And at the event, at the BAFA event, Pete Ackersley answered some of those queries, and there's going to be a further meeting about those. So the conversation continues between those teams that have signed up for what's called these 7-point resolutions and Pete Ackersley. It'll be interesting to see how that discussion progresses and how many of those points are adopted by BAFA as we move through the rest of this season. Obviously these are not short-term things that can quickly be implemented, but they're things that those teams that have signed up believe will improve the game. So interesting to see that discussion live as it took place at what was called a town hall event by Pete Axley, the chief executive of BAFA, and there'll be more of those town hall events, so keep an eye out of those on the BAFA website.
So those teams that haven't yet signed up, Carl, is there suggestion that they will do, or is it open, or is that kind of it now?
It was an open letter that Steve Rains published through a number of social media outlets, and invited other teams to sign up and back him in terms of what he was saying. Some teams did and some teams didn't, as you would expect. But what was interesting is just Pete Axley being open to those and having the discussion.
So last couple of plays we've seen Mahajan with the carry, and then Benzi fumble that snap, but he takes off this time, turns the corner and picks up 5 yards in relief of Naya Mugabu, who has done his job today for all intents and purposes. 4th down and 6, and Benzi leaves the field, maybe looking to add on a further 3. Yeah, Ken Wilford on the socials. I think that's a fair point you make there, Ken. Shout out to the defensive coordinators this afternoon. They've both done a sterling job. We know the power of the Bristol Aztec offense, and the SOLENT Thrashers offensive unit, no mean slouch of an outfit either. So defensive coordinators on both sides deserve a ton of credit. And equally special teams units as well, as that point sails into the end zone. Trying to get it down into the coffin corner again, but to no avail this time. Thrashers football at the 20.
Last chance now for the Thrashers to put something on the board. They don't need to restore any pride to these Thrashers. They've played really, really well, and you have to say, been impressed by the way they've played all season as this one comes to an end, Matt.
Indeed it does, and that's all she wrote here in Southampton. The Aztecs run out 11-0 winners, which cements their place at 2nd in the Premiership South. Still trailing those London Warriors, but it puts them to a 7-2 record. 1 game behind the London Warriors at 8-0, and it drops Solent to 5-5 on the season, and pretty much snuffs out their hopes of playoff football this year. So just before we go, we'll bring you some highlights of that second half in what has been an intriguing contest, and the Thrashers have by no means covered themselves in anything but positivity against this talented Bristol side. I think defense is definitely winning the day. There'll be questions asked once again on the Aztecs about those disciplinary issues and a number of flags that were thrown. And let's have a look at the second half action then.
So this was the handoff early to get that running game going. In the first series, Bristol Aztecs really wanting to get that running game established and get some kind of run momentum. And Nia Mugabu did drive them down the field. This was the little miscommunication on the handoff where the Thrashers stopped that drive by coming in and getting a sack. And it was those little lapses in concentration plus the penalties that prevented the Bristol Aztecs getting into the end zone earlier on in the game, Matt.
Indeed, but it was very much as the whole game was, just body blow, body blow, body blow, and we seemed to think that the Aztecs may well blow it open as the game went on, highlighted by that run by Mahajan. And they continued to look strong on this opening possession of the second half, did the Aztecs. And here's the one we loved, the hook and the ladder. And Carr then taking this one almost to pay dirt, stepping his first man, cutting upfield, stepping the second man, and then just turning on the afterburners. But number 89 for the Thrashers, 39 for the Thrashers, Matambe Tanyi never gave up, and as well as an interception earlier in the first half, made a touchdown saving tackle on that play.
And we thought Bristol would get in, didn't we? And we thought they would, and they tried, and then finally it was the quick feet, the beautiful dancing feet of Otis Newbury, who managed to get the breakthrough touchdown off a Nia Magabo pass. And that was the score that broke the thing open. And then there was the 2-point beautiful fake job done by everybody in that backfield so that the fullback could truck it in.
And then a few plays later, after the next Thrashers possession, just to put the cherry on top of the cake, and the Aztecs add that field goal to give us our final score of 11-0 in favour of the visitors. Lewis Bensley then came on in relief of Naima Garbo, and on the first of his drives, handed the ball off once again to Andrew Carr, who stepped and spun his way down inside the 40-yard line of the Thrashers. And that was pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, it was a fascinating encounter, very different to the one I thought we were going to get. I thought that the Aztecs would come in and it will be a similar scoreline to what it was when the previous encounter between these two teams. But it wasn't. Very tight defensive battle. Hats off to the Thrashers. You've had a fantastic season, the first time in the Premiership, and you've really played well against this very talented Bristol Aztecs team. And hats off to the Aztecs. You've really shown us today some of the talent that you have, some beautiful footwork, some great passing from Nia Magabo, and what a talented offense and defense they have down in Bristol. So great encounter, Matt. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
So just before we leave, we just take our final few thoughts of what we've seen this afternoon and also of what's upcoming. And as you said, Carl, hats off to the Thrashers for that effort, and the Aztecs roll on looking like they've secured their spot in the playoffs. Good luck and a shout out to the Great Britain women's team, who will be out in Finland at the end of this week, starting on Thursday the 28th. Keep up to date with all the proceedings from that World Championship via the BAFA website, and we will see you very soon in the future when the playoffs are about to begin, and we will then be bringing you coverage of those playoffs, hopefully. And also, we look forward to the Brit Bowl coming from London at the start of September. So, Carl, as ever, it's been a pleasure this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage, ladies and gents. And we will see you again next time here for more Premiership football. Goodbye for now.